Through this process, we'll update community demographics, analyze trends, and gather public input. We will also be reviewing plan goals and ordinances consistent with the comprehensive plan and the 2020 plan amendment. And so we're to the third slide. It's the plan schedule. And this past fall, of course, we developed the project schedule, adopted the public participation plan, launched the project webpage, shown at the bottom of that slide, administered the online survey, and facilitated the public vision session. We've held 6 meetings to review chapters of the draft plan, and this meeting we're reviewing the draft land use chapter. We have 1 more meeting scheduled to review the full plan as a workshop with the Planning Commission, and then we'll have our August 24th public hearing. That's required by statute to have a 30-day required Class 1 notice. And so before our July 24th, by our July 27th workshop, Mark, hopefully the village will provide the 30-day notice by July 24th.
Okay.
So that notice is required actually prior to our next meeting. And I can send you examples if you'd like. Also, we have an example resolution for the Planning Commission to adopt that would recommend approval of the draft plan to the board. And then the board needs to actually adopt the plan through an ordinance. And I can send you drafts of both of those documents.
Okay.
If you'd like.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll send you an example notice and the resolution and the ordinance. And those will need to be voted upon. Usually how it's structured is the Plan Commission leads the public hearing for the board. And at that same public hearing, there's an item on the agenda for the commission to consider that resolution. And then they adopt it right there at the meeting if there's a quorum. And hopefully there's a quorum so that the majority can hear any feedback that comes from that public hearing. And then we can incorporate.
A quorum of the board or a quorum of the
Planning Commission.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There will be.
And we've scheduled separate meetings for that public hearing, so that's why it's usually the Plan Commission if it's separate from the board consideration. So the public hearing would be a quorum of the Plan Commission up at the Diaz, just as you are during these workshops. I can send you an agenda, a draft agenda, if you'd like, just so that we are conducting the public hearing according to statute.
Okay, sure.
I can also provide a brief presentation of the plan and the process if you'd like. That's part of it. But I've seen it both ways. You know, the Plan Commission chair can introduce the item just as other items on the agenda and give a presentation of the process if they'd like. So.
But that hearing is for the Plan Commission.
Conducted by the Plan
Okay,
Commission.
okay.
Yeah.
Have there ever been people showing up to this stuff really? Would you really expect many in a public hearing?
I wouldn't.
Probably not.
I mean, it might just be another.
But maybe the 30-day Class 1 notice.
Might get a couple.
Might get a few.
Right.
I mean, our original
Weird.
Yeah.
public hearing got some.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you don't get as much notice as this one.
That's, yeah.
Did you?
Two extras. I guess I'll take
How do you post your Class 1 notifications?
Mark?
In the paper or?
Yeah,
is
we
it
post
on-
them in the paper, and then we post them on the village website.
That's great.
Yeah.
Could I get a copy, Mark? Or do you have it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Great.
That's-
Thank you. Will you share, Mark? Okay, terrific. Okay.
I did look for it.
Yeah.
So, I guess
My phone is very low
we'll
right
just
now.
follow along.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the PowerPoint, Eric?
I do.
Unfortunately, the screen isn't working, and it's okay because no one's here either. So I'm on to the next, the comprehensive plan contents. I don't know that I need to go through all of them, but it's housing, transportation, utilities, community facilities, natural, cultural, and agricultural resources, economic development, intergovernmental cooperation, and tonight we're going over land use, and then we'll be doing implementation at our last meeting next month. And I'm on to slide 5. This shows the corrections from there's a typo on that slide, I apologize. It should say the May 14th draft. So all of the corrections listed there are from the May 14th draft and the meeting. And I've highlighted again the corrections that I'd like to verify this evening. And I did want to mention that I added workplace geography on page 56 in the economic development chapter because we talked about it in the May meeting. But due to time, I am going to skip the review of that one. Just wanted to let you know that I put that information in there. And then before we proceed, does anyone have any questions or comments about any of the changes that aren't highlighted in bold on that slide? Okay. Great. So I'm on to slide 6. This one is in the natural resources chapter. Page 45, if you're following along in the June 11th draft plan, the depth to groundwater map shown on the left of the slide or within your packet, it has a different wellhead protection area from the middle map, which is the zoning map. And we also have new information from the DNR online surface water data viewer shown on the map on the right. And to clarify, we think that the zoning map reflects a well setback because it's a buffer area around both of them.
Yep.
And then we'd like to update the depth to groundwater map with the DNR data that we found online that represents the 5-year groundwater time of travel zones around the public wells. And we're not sure where the delineation came from the map on the left, which is actually in the draft plan, the latest draft plan. But if you would like to keep a delineation on that depth to groundwater map, we'd like to update it to the DNR information. And then my question to you is, what would you like us to include on that depth to groundwater map, if anything? Would you like us to follow up with SEH? And maybe Eric, you know where those buffer areas came from? And if you'd like us to just mimic that buffer around the wellhead on this depth to groundwater map, or if you'd like us to remove them.
So many feet around the well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where that came from?
it's in the zoning someplace.
Yeah,
We dealt with it when, Quick Trip went in.
Oh, it's in the text.
right, it's in the text of the zoning, a certain offset from the wells location, but, as far as the map goes, you know, it's a depth to groundwater map, and then the one on the right, DNR source water protection area. I don't know, I think that the map on the right that you've got is fine. And then we just do the wellhead protection area on the zoning map as we've done before.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think that's good.
Yeah.
maybe I should label it something else. Because they label that as wellhead protection area. However, one of our conservation staff looked into it a little bit more, and it represents a 5-year groundwater time of travel zone.
Okay.
do you think?
Uh,
Should we still label it a wellhead protection area or label it a 5-year groundwater?
I would label it the 5-year groundwater, and then the protection zone can just stay in the zone.
Yeah, that'd be the, make the most sense,
But the
easiest way to do it.
circular zoning, that's just for, you know, when you put, if you wanna put a gas station in that zone, I mean, you gotta get some special approval to do so. If you were outside, cause that was, it was just the inside of it or just off the edge of it.
Okay,
Well, see what they're gonna do with Cemex here. They're closing down.
great. Will do.
Pumps and tanks and.
Okay, the next slide, slide 7.
I do have that.
Oh, wonderful. So we'll use the map on the right, and I'm just gonna change the label to 5-year groundwater zone,
Okay,
so that it's not confusing, and the zoning is the correct
yeah,
wellhead protection area.
that
Great.
sounds good.
So unfortunately, at the May meeting, we didn't review the intergovernmental cooperation goal and objectives. I forgot to put them in the draft. So there are included in the June 11th draft on page 64. And as we've done in the other chapters, I'll review the condensed version, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Great. So goal 1 states continue current intergovernmental cooperation agreements and explore new opportunities. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Great. And then objectives, number 1, reduce costs and improve efficiency through intergovernmental cooperation, shared services, and joint use of equipment. Sound good?
Yeah,
Great. Number 2 is identify and evaluate opportunities for joint planning, projects, and services with neighboring communities. Sound good?
Works.
Wonderful. All right, we're done
Well,
with
pretty much
slide
all the place
7. So I'll remove those 2006 from the next draft. Slide 8 is, as we've done with all the other chapters, this is the summary of the relevant public participation gathered at the beginning of this process. This slide summarizes the results recorded at the vision session and relevant remarks from the open-ended question on the survey regarding land use. And the full public participation results, of course, are in Appendix A, pages 84 to 100 in the 611 draft. So participants expressed strong value on maintaining the small town character and community feel. There are mixed perspectives on growth. Some feel that Baldwin is not growing quickly enough, while others are comfortable with gradual growth. There is a general acceptance of Baldwin functioning as a veteran community, providing quality of life and community character are preserved. And the general survey results are at the bottom there. Recorded opinions about policy and fairness, improve the clarify zoning permits and ordinances to ensure consistent application without favoritism, and also a suggestion to allow goats as approved farm animals within the village. And we can go to the next slide. We just have to review them and consider them. And it's most appropriate in the land use section because this is where we want to identify any inconsistencies in zoning or anything that's under regulation. Any comments?
So we're gonna change our ordinance to allow goats then?
no,
I don't think so.
nope.
Dang it, I was just picking some up tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait, you get 3 or 4 maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You don't have to mow your
Oh,
lawn.
you're probably
Cut down on the
limited
mowing.
to just 2.
It might be, yeah, well,
I had a goat when I was young, but we lived on a farm.
Yeah.
And we would have to mow for every 3 days because the grass would be just
they eat so fast.
mowed. Like, go
Yeah,
right
they
down to
do.
the ground.
You're onto something.
Obliterate whatever vegetation they're around.
There's good and bad to everything. There really is. But if
I
you,
got a feel that no,
Yeah?
if you'd want to add an objective or a goal in the land use section to just research the idea, that's one way to respond to something like
Well, like, are
It's not
rabbits
required.
considered a farm animal, or is that a pet?
As
Like,
a pet.
and they're
Yeah.
stored outside of some houses.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I have
so,
calves that were
There is a
pets too,
rabbit
so-
ordinance. You guys
in
have
ours, we do have one.
rabbits and bees.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens too.
The chickens too.
Chickens.
Yeah,
That's
poor
right.
chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then where did you get my tenant out the farm, he's got chickens, he's got turkeys, he's got ducks,
So he's on a
he's
farm.
got geese, yeah, he's got big.
okay.
It grows.
Oh, that happens, they multiply in not the same species.
Is there ordinance say something about ducks, I guess, I'm not,
No.
No waterfowl.
because I know there's a family in Woodville that has ducks in the village limits, so.
In Woodville.
I mean,
I have a neighbor who has way more than 4 chickens.
yeah, again, I think that's part of the enforcement
Yeah.
part of things here, but.
Of course, maybe before the season's over, there'll be less than 4.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I think so. I mean, they're housed outside, the father did make a little coop for them, but, and they're not bugging anyone. But yes, I have a feeling that
There'll be
they
chicken soup before long.
will have, be half eaten before the
We're gonna have one less turkey here real soon, you
Yeah.
know that.
So I guess in terms of that farm animal thing, I would just, I mean, what are you saying we need to consider?
No, you can
I would leave it out.
if you would like. But all we're doing with these couple of slides is just reviewing the relevant land use, public participation
Right.
feedback
Yeah,
from the way beginning of the process.
I mean, the
And
board would
that's-
certainly hear someone if they came up and said, I really want my children to have a goat each, can we please have a goat? And then the board would look at that individually, I don't think it needs to be in a comprehensive plan.
Right,
That
No.
seems a bit
Yeah.
drastic.
Just not.
okay. Sounds great. Next slide 9, and you're already on it. This is a graph showing the survey results and the level of agreement for different land use topics. Starting at the left, number 1 is, are you satisfied with development under the present land use, zoning, and subdivision ordinances? 37% agree, 52% are neutral, and 11% disagree. Number 2 in the middle is asking, are you supportive of consistent enforcement of zoning ordinances? 75% agree, 20% are neutral, and 5% disagree. Number 3 on the right is support consistent enforcement of building codes. 76% agree, 1% neutral, 23% disagree. Any questions about that one? Then we're on to slide 10, and this is the draft land use chapter, begins on page 65 of the June 11th, 2026 draft plan. It begins with just a short introduction and the Wisconsin state statute that calls for analysis of the land use trends, redevelopment and development, supply, demand, and value, redevelopment and development opportunities, then land use conflicts, land use projections, and of course the future land use map. And on the left of the slide, I've placed the relevant regulations, land use regulations that the village has. And if you would take a quick look at that and let me know if there are any changes or additions, corrections of any kind to that list. Does it look okay? Some of these were identified in the natural resource chapter when we were talking about the environmentally sensitive areas. But this is a full list. So, look pretty good.
Well, land use is basically covered in primarily on zoning and zoning maps. And zoning is use, what can you use this property for?
Right.
That's our
Uses, yep.
primary task in front of us.
Should I move that one to the top?
For
Right,
land use, yeah, that's probably the most important ones.
sure. They were just, I think I put them in order by the numbers,
Yeah.
but
Or,
I can
or
move,
bold that one as critical to the land use, really.
right,
Because your map and your ordinances really control all that.
Yeah.
All this other text is supportive,
Should I just move it to number one?
Yeah.
but that works.
Okay. Great. Okay. Any other changes? Next slide. This is our land use trends on page 66. The land use trends are from 2005 to 2025, gathered from property tax assessment land use classification data provided by Wisconsin Department of Revenue and St. Croix County. The land use classifications include exempt, agricultural, commercial, residential, manufacturing, undeveloped, and forest and woodlands were combined for this analysis. The data shows that the village's acreage consistently increased since 2005. Exempt land use is the highest land area in 2025 at 36%. Exempt acreage more than tripled over the 20-year period. And other land uses that increased include agricultural, commercial, residential, and forest and woodlands. The decreased land uses included manufacturing and undeveloped. And the Wisconsin DOR definitions of undeveloped and other are at the bottom of that page 66. Any questions or comments on this land use trends from 05 to 25? Great. Slide 12 is page 67 of that June 11th draft, shows land use projections using that same property tax assessment data. At the top of the page, we drafted a paragraph about the exempt land use category acreage. It states that the village of Baldwin is unique in that it has abundant exempt lands. The exempt property was increased in the past decades for school expansions, hospital and clinic relocation and expansion, wastewater treatment plant relocation and expansion, and village-owned future commercial and industrial expansion areas. And I'm wondering if there are corrections to that text.
Is the highway department part of that? Building in the,
Sure.
Nothing
Yeah.
could be
Yeah,
added.
industrial
that
park.
should be added, that's,
It's exempt.
It's exempt, yeah.
that's a big one. That's 47 acres.
Yeah.
That's why, it's kinda shocking that exempt is going up so big, you know?
It tripled,
Yeah.
yeah, in that 20-year period. And I was gonna ask for clarification, did the hospital and clinic relocate?
Yeah.
Or was it brand new? Just, it
Both.
located from a different municipality?
No.
No.
No, so you had a hospital and
Yeah.
clinic
They had a
here.
hospital, it was Baldwin Area Medical Center, and they renamed it.
What's
and
in
that's
it?
when they moved.
But they went from that Quick Trip site of 5 acres, whatever was there,
Yeah.
to how many acres they
Yeah.
bought up there? 60? What do they have?
That's big.
It's big.
Yeah.
So does the village still own that old site?
Nope.
No,
That's
Quick
Quick
Trip does.
Quick Trip bought that.
So,
But you probably won't
Was
see
it-
those numbers in
No.
your numbers yet, because that was just.
this past
completed
year?
a year,
3 years?
2 years.
I think
Last
it's 2
year.
years?
2 years.
2 years ago.
24?
24, yeah.
Okay. So, wonderful. And the wastewater treatment plant, that was
Same thing.
this
That
is
was all.
the same question. Did it relocate entirely to the new site,
Yeah.
or have you kept both of
Well,
them?
they kept the
Kept
property,
the property.
Should I just
but
say
purchased.
new property
Yeah.
purchase
Mhm,
and expansion?
mhm.
Moved
Okay.
across the road.
New facility, so I'll cross out relocation from that, because you're keeping both sites, and that exempt property will remain, a big part of this calculation. But it'll be interesting to see the changes. And because of all of those, and what was the item you wanted me to add to this section?
The highway
The
department.
highway
Same
department.
County highway department.
Out in the
So
TIF
the
district.
village
It's industrial
owns
park.
that site.
Yes.
and
No,
we-
the county owns it, but they're exempt
Oh,
from
we do.
taxes.
Oh, of course, thank you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's on a later slide, because there is state and local, but county will be considered local anyway. Great, thank you.
When the police department out there, they really didn't change anything there, because they were
Yeah,
exempt
the full
before.
show too.
That was already DNR.
That was already exempt.
Yeah, but it was owned privately before.
Yeah,
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, that's right, they.
Yeah, we just lost a couple dollars from real estate taxes off of it, so.
That's right.
Okay. Any other changes to that list of the exempt property that you can think of changed in the last 20 years?
See, isn't that, that's probably included though, but isn't the government's building down there, the USDA building, owned by the county?
yep,
So,
but that's been there for,
I've been there for a long time now, that's been
Over
over
20
20 years, so. Probably no effect on it long,
Great. The land use projections are shown in 5-year increments from 2030 to 2045 as required by Wisconsin statute. The exempt acres were removed from that calculation because the extrapolation is based on the assumption that the same land use trends experienced in the past will continue into the future. But we know that the exempt land that was increased and tripled over the last 20 years, those were specific reasons that are very unlikely to happen again. So that's why we removed the exempt from this and hope that's okay. So the trends that we identified in the projections are the same as the 2005 to 2025, with increases in agricultural, commercial, residential, and forest and woodlands, and minus the exempt. And also, it is noted in the draft plan that agricultural land use is more likely to decrease moving forward if the development continues and the projected decreases in manufacturing and undeveloped were the same. So, but those might increase if the development continues.
well, the agricultural land has to go down because we have really no more land ready for development.
Yeah, somebody wouldn't annex in farmland to remain farmland. You know,
Right.
they could annex in to be residential or something else.
Right.
Okay. That's one of my questions coming up. So wonderful.
Yeah, you feel like manufacturing or commercial, or one of those would have to be getting greater and agricultural should be going down.
Right.
Because
Because they have to use land in some
Yeah.
we don't have much agriculture from the city limits.
Well, we don't define it, we don't have a zoning for agricultural.
right.
When land comes in, we assign it a primary use,
Land use.
whether it ends up there or not.
Right.
And
Well, if you take a look at the property on 60th there, I think we had 4 different zonings on that over the years, over the few years we had for the scooters. and
Those
Oh, yeah.
scooters, yeah.
Because it was looked at for a church, it was looked at for, Shopco, it was looked at for rental, commercial,
Yeah, apartments.
yeah,
and that was all within less than 5 years.
wow. Lots to consider. Lots to consider. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the land use projections? And we'll go on to slide 13. This is page 68 of the June 11th draft. It's all text about the individual land use projections, and this is not required, but it's just additional analysis and insight for the village's consideration. And I'll summarize it really quickly. Residential, if the population continues to grow, an estimated 376 units are needed by 2040. And if the current percentage of housing types continues, which is 75% single family and 25% multifamily, then approximately 282 units of single family are needed and 94 multifamily units needed, again, by 2040. And that's based on a just calculation of the average family size or household unit size and the population projections that we had reviewed in the introduction chapter.
The development out south of the 94 there, which is like 85 units, is that figured into this, or is that?
It is not.
No.
That is a great, and projections are, you know, looking into a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Really, they
But
are.
that could cover a great portion of that.
Exactly.
And then they're looking to do a mirror image of that, of another 80 at some point. After, so then you're done.
So is an apartment considered a single-family unit or?
That's not a great questions. And back to your question, the projections are based on 2000 to 2020 census population data, which is really important because we're already in 2026. And we looked at using the population from the ACS at 2025, but we decided to just use the 2020 because it's a nice 20-year span. You know, 2000 to 2020, then we could do our projections on a 10-year horizon, or 20-year horizon to 2030 and to 2040.
Well, the next 20 years are not gonna be the same growth because they simply can't be.
Right.
I mean, our village boom was in the early 2000s, so we can't have the same growth.
Never say
in
never.
Well, where are we gonna put them?
I don't know.
Not in our footprint.
Right,
Not in our- not in our
we need
footprint.
land if we do that, right?
Well, and we'll get
Plus you
to
need
that,
developers
you
that
know,
are willing
there's,
to do something.
Right.
Right now, it's there.
this page 68 talks about commercial and industrial, also with some more projections. The estimated target percentages, which there is no ideal for commercial and industrial, keep that in mind. These are just target percentages based on the average, is 3 to 8% commercial and 5 to 15% industrial. Combined is 8 to 23%. And the current combined property tax assessment, commercial and industrial, is 20% in the village. But that is not counting the exempt land that is zoned and guided for commercial or industrial uses. So, after this meeting, we'll have a better idea and some better percentages for you. But we needed your feedback, and we'll get it in a minute on that future land use map. And to be able to provide those percentages in more accuracy. This section also talks about park projections. This is at the top of page 69 if you're following in the June 11th draft plan, with additional recommendations of open space and greenways can serve as buffers between conflicting uses such as residential and heavy commercial or industrial. And neighborhood parks every 1/2 mile from any residential subdivision is a general best practice in planning. Also, community parks every 2 to 3 miles, and regional larger recreational parks every 5 to 10 miles. And currently, the village is providing a park within a 1/2 mile of all the residential assessed property. So, that was good news. Any questions or comments on that page 68? And would you like to keep all of that text as just some context around the projections? Or,
Good information.
yeah, it's a snapshot in time. and just provides a little more insight. Okay, we're on to slide 14, which is value, land value, another Wisconsin statute requirement. So the graph shows the property tax assessed total land and improvements value, not the market value in each of the land use classification categories in 5-year increments again from 2005 to 2025, and then the projections required from 2030 to 2045. And those are shown in the gray box. Assessed land values have increased in most of the land use categories in the Village of Baldwin since 2005. The top 3 total land use values in 2025 included residential, commercial, and manufacturing. Increases in ag, forest, and woodlands as well, with the projected continued increases in the same categories. Projections are based on that extrapolation calculation assumption that the same value trends experienced from 2005 to 2025 will continue into the future. Any questions or comments on land use value? Next slide is 15. And this is, again, value data, but it's one of the categories. So this property tax assessment value data is calculated in 2 categories, for land and improvements for selected land uses, including residential, commercial, manufacturing, and other. And the graph shows improvement only assessed value in each land use category in the 5-year increments again. Improvement values increased in each 5-year time frame except for 2015 that reflected decreases in the top 3 value land uses, including residential, commercial, and manufacturing. And this is attributed to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue changed how they assessed, they changed their assessment methods within that time frame. So residential property improvements account for the largest value share. And my apologies, an error on this slide. Remove ag and forest and woodlands and the project from the increased sections and the projections. I forgot to change the text from the previous slide, and I did it again with the parcels. Any questions about this improvement value data? And then we'll go on to number 16 slide. This is land use parcels. Again, we're looking at the assessment, property tax assessment data. And this shows you the parcels in each of the land use categories from 2005 to 2025 again. And all the categories listed under increased are accurate except for manufacturing. And also with the addition of exempt state, that also increased. And decreases were in exempt local and manufacturing, which I wanted to look at again.
I got a question. So under the residential, for example, does that include like all multifamily and single family total?
Great
Parcels?
question, yes.
Okay.
And that's why when we get to this, I am wondering if we should remove the existing land use map from the draft plan. So we provided an existing land use map, which is required by statute. However, for the towns surrounding that we've done comprehensive plans for, we've used the zoning map and the land cover map to reference existing land uses. But the existing land use map that's within this June 11th draft has that assessor data. So your question is wonderful because it brings up why I'd like to remove the data. It doesn't show compatible or corresponding land use categories to your future land use map that identifies single family versus multifamily. And that's just one of the issues with the data. We use the data in, and we talk about it in the text and the graphs. But geographically, I think the focus should be on that future land use map and where you'd like the village to go, instead of using that assessor data to identify what the assessor categories state. I think it might add an element of confusion. But it is up to you guys if you wanna keep that data. It's helpful because it shows some exempt properties.
If you're just measuring what is existing,
Yeah,
okay, and you're the future maps, well, should be where do we wanna be going, or where can we go?
yeah,
We may wanna go someplace, but we can't get there,
Right.
or can't,
yeah,
or not physically capable of being done, or there's a big expense or something like that to do that.
right. All of it is good data, but it's sort of comparable.
So there's an increase from 20 to 25 then, the residential units from 1359 to 1422,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes, that's what our property assessment data tells us.
Or-
That's all the houses out.
Well, that's not very many.
It's not many.
My point is, that's not very many houses,
It
because
isn't.
Oh,
in the last 5 years, where we're at,
wait a
there's
minute, you said 20.
just the one parcel has 29 units in it for single family that was brought in, so it's, you know, I'm questioning
Yeah,
the numbers, because if you look at the number of, and plus, you know, if you're talking 25, so I mean, that's in the last 5 years, there's been,
Sure seems like more.
well, there is a lot more. Hell, the
That's
whole
only
thing in the last 5 years.
that's only 63 units there in 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I question.
That
That's my
wasn't too
question, see,
deal,
that's my
yeah.
question, there's only 63 units in the last 5 years. I find that hard to believe it was only added
Is
63
there a
resident
data
houses.
cutoff thing here that we're dealing with?
I don't know.
No, 25, if you look at, 25 is looking at 24 numbers, you know.
Most, 19 or 20, you know, 19's.
I'm
I
gonna
don't-
circle that, and thanks for bringing it up, because, you're right.
Well, what
The
other,
2015 numbers were very strange because
what other
of that
development
assessor
besides
method
all this
change.
fits into?
As
Is
you
there
can
another
see,
thing?
they went down.
No,
Kind of
Well,
what-
assessor
I said,
method
well,
should-
That's the only one.
Yeah.
Right.
Change what,
That's pretty much
You know,
it.
that's
What
five
the
years,
units
that's
that are
kind of, that's the
being
only
assessed.
one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just the value.
About 4 or 5 new houses.
Well,
too.
and it would be
Well,
if
Cedar.
you had a
Cedar,
lot of
yeah.
farmhouses that were
Oh, yeah.
They're all
Okay.
old.
previously
Oh, yeah.
assessed as
Oh, yeah.
residential, but
Years ago.
now they
Cedar.
were switched
isn't a
to
farmhouse
either
residential?
other.
But in multi.
Well, if you,
If people are
go
living
to-
in it,
But that's
it's
5.5
residential.
mostly, but.
if you go to the bottom of page 66 of the draft, shows the Wisconsin DOR land use classification definitions. Other class 7, I think was created, don't quote me on that, but it includes buildings and improvements on a farm. Example, houses, barns, and
Okay.
silos along with the land necessary for their location and convenience.
So that's still zoned agriculture, even though it's a home.
That might be,
Okay.
but you guys don't have a
Do we
zone
have that
for
in the zone?
agriculture. This is an assessment category of agriculture
Right.
that I think they created this other, where those farmhouses used to be called residential.
Right.
And then they switched it, and they called it other now. If it's a farmhouse, it's other. So that might be the reason why the residential parcels were reduced, when in real life, they weren't. They didn't go away, they just went to a different category. But that's just a theory, and don't quote me on it.
My rental property would have been a farm originally, and when the water came down, the site came down, all that stuff, it became R2.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Just a house off the country.
Okay. I'm still gonna look at those numbers and see if I recorded them wrong, which very well may have been, and my apologies. So good catch, and thanks for pointing that out. All right, I'm gonna circle that. Any other questions or comments on that land use parcels data? Do you wanna keep it? I'll double check the numbers and maybe ask you again next time. If those are wrong.
Is the land use parcels, is that just by numbers, or is that by acreage? Because if it's numbers, you're gonna have more, you know, residential lots than you will have commercial
All right.
or manufacturing. If it's acreage,
Well, and you're just drawing attention to one really important thing, that this is just parcels. This
Yeah.
is the land that a multifamily housing
Yep.
unit would sit on.
yep,
And this won't reflect the units that are on it. So if you had any duplexes that were built on one parcel,
yep.
it's not gonna count it as two.
Ah,
And 3 or 4 units, or if you had a large, did you have a complex? Or you have apartments.
The
Right.
trailer court is one.
Oh, the
Oh, it is.
trailer court is one. Sure is.
So there's
Right, yeah.
30,
Because
Right, yeah.
one
Two.
owner.
Right.
so then what do we do, like with the 300 Cedar Street development, right?
Yeah. So then,
Is
so.
that each lot is 2 units then? Or
Must be one unit then,
or
it's one.
is it one lot for the
But
entire?
the lot descriptions are different though.
how are the
Right,
lots
they are.
divided up in there? Is it one big lot and all these units on there, or
Well, to
do
me,
they pay for their,
twin homes are each individual lots because you have ownership each side.
yeah,
Oh, so
Yes.
each unit
They're,
then?
well, they're assessed separately, so,
They are?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
separate lines.
separate lots, so.
Share a lot line.
You just share a lot line, yeah, right.
Those people sure don't have any land. Wow. Right on top of my condos here. Postage stamp yard.
Yeah, those are all
I
separate
think
lots.
They are separate, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Just wondered.
So the trailer courts and any apartment buildings would be the only two exceptions to this.
Okay.
Do you think that those numbers make up enough?
Just if you
Or
note them that, you know,
Yeah, let's.
that these
record
are
that.
kind of exceptions to all the counties and
Right.
10, 15,
But
12.
trailer court, you know, they don't own the land,
No,
they own the house.
they're
Exactly.
renting.
They're renting the
This
land.
whole area.
And that's an
This-
affordable housing.
This whole area is all one
It's not
lot.
even one parcel, all these individual
So the trailer home is
rentals.
one
Yeah,
owner,
see, that's-
one
One
lot.
owner,
So
one
is
lot.
that-
And then they
I don't.
rent a
it's
section
over
of
20
that
years.
lot
Yep.
from the
Well, over
owner.
20 years ago.
And
That's
one,
what's the video.
whatever section of it.
Owner's pretty sure, but that's beside the
That's all-
point.
that's all one parcel.
Yeah, I wondered if that
We
was
just did all
residential.
one-
Cottage, that's what I remember what it's called.
I'll make a note of that and reference the housing chapter for the unit count. Okay. Thank you. Great catch. Okay, should we move on to the next slide? Slide 17 is about residential density.
Mhm.
So land use policy influences housing density, residential development, and land subdivision. The state statute requires minimum and maximum residential densities in the future land use classifications. And this page was drafted as information only, and we can remove it from the final draft plan. The figure is an AI-generated general illustration of residential density units per acre comparison for the village's consideration of recommended densities.
Mhm.
The illustration demonstrates how increasing residential density can reduce estimated housing construction and sales prices per unit while accommodating more homes on the same amount of land. And after this page was drafted and in comparison to the zoning district, the village's zoning district densities, I've drafted a couple different recommended land use densities. So this was just based on villages of similar size, and again, it was just generated by AI. So, but that's okay, you all have it in front of you.
Yep.
And I think what I wanna do is have this density discussion when we get to the land use map, which is just one more slide away. Because that's on the survey.
I really like that slide.
You like it?
Yeah. I'm gonna share this with our Habitat people that some of their stupid ideas that I'm running up against.
Like wanting to put 2 homes.
Yep.
Well, and what I could do is generate the same illustrations with the actual recommended densities that will hopefully you'll adopt into the future land use map that match your existing village zoning ordinance, minimum lot sizes. So should I do that, Mark? Should I make a new illustration that matches whatever densities we decide on tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'll still have an illustration, but it'll be
A little
relevant
bit different.
to the
So
village,
it's close
yeah.
to what we have, yeah.
Should I still include all of the columns, which are, construction costs per unit, I think it was, and then also just a guess at the market
Market value.
sale
This is
price?
for our, this though would be included in the comprehensive plan, right?
It's not required, I put it in there for your visualization and information.
I guess I'd say not to put it in the comprehensive plan, just because we saw how much prices jumped up in the last
Oh, yeah.
couple years.
Yeah.
And now you're talking 20 years out from now.
Yeah.
I mean, homes involved might be $1 million.
Exactly.
So-
But the thing, what it does illustrate to me though is, the greater the density, you know, I'm a developer.
Yeah.
I look at this here and I said, okay, how many houses can I get on 1 acre?
Yep.
And that would be important to me as a developer.
Yeah.
Because the more I can get on 1 acre, hopefully the more profitable it is for me to do it. If you know, so it gives you a perception, obviously they can do that on their own with their own engineering people, right, Eric? And so, but I would think as time goes on, I don't know, have you seen that, Eric, in what you've seen so far? Isn't the density shrinking in communities or not necessarily?
Density shrinking meaning more units per acre?
Right, yeah, smaller lots,
Yeah,
basically.
yes.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah, well, and that's what, yeah, we've seen it here with, just by Dollar General.
Right,
You know, talk
yeah,
about it, we've seen it in other
right.
communities too, where
Yep.
that's what, basically what developers are saying
Right.
too, is
And
are
they're gonna-
viable projects.
Right.
Because otherwise, you think about,
Yeah.
you just add acreage, it adds length of street, which adds cost to the lot, which, you know, trickles down,
Sure.
yeah.
So, I guess my opinion, I would say get rid of the estimates there.
Yeah.
Get rid of those 2 columns, but maybe add a column that does show our minimum lot requirements.
Mhm.
Once we decide like what that looks like,
Okay, great,
maybe.
yeah.
So that then a developer can say, oh, I see it, 2 units, this is what Baldwin says their minimum lot requirements are.
Yes.
Unless that warrants its own little slide on its own like page.
No, I think it will be great right here, and I have a table as an example on the back of your survey. I don't know if you guys have the survey yet. We're gonna get to it
Yeah.
in just a second. Mark has the copies. Let's go on to the next slide. We can always come back to this if you wanna see it again. But the slide 18 is page 72 in that June 11th draft. The graph shows the Village of Baldwin average wastewater treatment plant volume in 2025 and projections to 2045. The state statute references future utility assessments, and so that's why this section is here. The design capacity of the village wastewater treatment plant is 540,000 gallons per day. In 2025, it was estimated at 340,000 gallons per day. And the projections use the Wisconsin DNR recommendations, which include residential per unit, which is 250 per unit gallons per day. Then commercial per acre estimate of 2,000 gallons per day, and industrial also per acre at 5,000 gallons per day. So the 2045 projected flow of 485,500 gallons per day is below the design capacity of the wastewater treatment plant. And I think that those DNR estimates are quite high when it comes to the industrial uses. They have to do that because there's such a range. Some industrial uses require a lot of water consumption and then wastewater also. You know, some even auto uses will require a lot more water and wastewater. So you're safe
Yeah.
with these numbers, is the point.
We spent your money well.
Any yeah.
So is this just saying that you're projecting 5 industrial sites or 5 commercial
Yes.
things being added in 2030, 5 between 30 to 30? That's just a projection, like, you're just saying 5,
Random.
okay, random.
Great catch, and thank you for bringing that up. If you would want me to, if you think that that seems unreasonable, we can lower that number.
I mean, I guess you're just saying we're gonna have 5, 10, 15, 20 more commercial
Yeah.
buildings, 20 more industrial buildings being put involved in the next 20 years? Do we have the capacity for that?
We don't have the land.
We
We
don't
have
have
the
land
land
for
for
it.
it,
We'd have to annex in, and then we're not looking at the same rate.
Yeah, because if you look at the industrial park, 20 buildings in there is probably a stretch. If it was more flat land,
Yeah.
I mean, and was more just better land, then I would say it would be feasible, but so much of that isn't developable really for a lot of different reasons. So it's like 20, yeah, it doesn't.
Should we lower this
Probably.
4 or 3 every 5 years?
I guess we just have to think what can we fit within our city limits? What seems reasonable in 20 years? To have 4
In
industrial
20,
sites?
no, in 20 years, if you could fill up what we got, it'd be
Right.
a decent goal.
You know, there's a lot of land that could be developed
Right,
Yeah.
right now,
yeah, absolutely.
you know, between 94 and the Village Industrial Park, there's a whole
Yeah,
swath
yeah.
Right.
that whoever owns it is not selling it. There's for sale signs, and nobody ever gets anywhere with whoever is selling it. And you can also go further east of, you know, like near the city shop,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and so more land could be annexed in,
Right.
that could be zoned industrial, so
Yeah.
it's not like, and there's even open land there, you know, some open land, maybe 10 acres or something. The Evergreen, like east of Evergreen.
Right.
I know you just picked a number, but again, we're trying to look in a crystal ball, maybe 5 doesn't, I mean, you'd rather look way beyond rather than shorting yourself.
The
Right?
bottom line,
You're like,
is
oh
we
my
got
gosh,
coverage on water.
It's a great idea.
And we have
Oh, yeah,
land,
yeah.
it's just,
But, well, isn't it though, we have the capacity for that production if that happens, that's really what this is telling us.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to build another sewer plant to have 5 more commercial businesses between now and,
Right.
that's really what it's telling
I
us.
suppose that is what it's.
It's actually every 5 years. This is
Yeah,
a
right, I mean, if
really
you look at the
high
total, but if
estimate.
you look at the totals, the
Yeah.
totals of 2045 is 485,000, we got a 540,000 capacity now, that tells me we have adequate water
Yeah.
capacity, that's what this,
Whatever.
that's what it tells me this is all about.
Right.
Whether you have 2 or whether you have 10, it's
Right.
like, as long as we got capacity, you know, it can exceed 5.
If we were short, we'd have a problem.
Yeah, if this was going the other
Well,
way.
this is, right, based on a business a year,
Yeah, right,
Right.
basically coming, which
Yeah.
feels aggressive.
It is.
But even if it does happen that quick,
Yeah.
as to Dale's point, it's still,
That is-
Yeah, we have the capacity for it.
Right.
Right, we have the capacity, that's the whole key to me.
One
Yeah,
commercial
that's
and
probably
one industrial,
The
so
best
it
way
would
to
be
put
two
it
a
is that we
year.
do have the
Yeah.
capacity.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
One,
There is
right.
capacity.
Right,
Yeah.
one
So you're saying leave it at five because it shows
really
that we're good.
high.
Yeah, leave it at five.
Oh.
Five's a good number.
Is that,
Stick with
Is
five.
it?
Yeah,
Stick with
I think,
five.
yeah, because that's,
I
to
was-
his point, it shows that, yeah, if that does actually happen, we should be okay
Yeah,
with the wastewater treatment.
If we go to 25 and we exceed our capacity, then we're in trouble.
Well, we'd be trying to, expanding the wastewater plant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that, we don't need that for a
Don't
long
mention
time.
things, don't mention things like that.
I just got the land right there.
Yeah, we got adequate land,
Yeah.
yeah, adequate land. Yeah.
we'll know a little bit more once we dive into this map too. And what I can do is average sizes of your existing commercial and your existing industrial. Once we have that land use map overlay, then I can divide the amount of vacant land depending on the aerial, just based on the aerial map. And we can make a little bit better projections, but for now, I'm gonna keep it at 5. So let's go on to the next one. We're finally there at the discussion that I've been so excited about. So page 72 of the June 11th draft has map descriptions. Oh, not quite there yet. This is the land cover, the zoning map, and the future land use map. And so all 3 maps contain different category names to distinguish land uses. So that's why these descriptions are here. And as I stated before, the land cover map that's currently in the natural resources chapter shows a potential existing land uses. Their category names are open water, wetland, cultivated, grasslands, rural residential, urban, which is predominant in the village, and then woodlot, forest, pine plantation, parks, and public land. And it's a reference map to analyze the existing land uses. And the zoning map is very different because its districts define specific development standards for current enforcement of regulations, such as property use, lot size, setbacks, unit types, building square footage, and landscaping. So that's a legal document.
Yeah.
It's a legal map and it's a legal ordinance. The village zoning map includes 11 districts, 5 residential, 4 commercial and mixed use, 1 industrial, and 1 park. And the future land use map designates the general location, distribution, and extent of land uses, including residential, commercial, agriculture, industrial, utilities, and recreational open space. But we're gonna be talking about the classifications on that future land use map in a little bit. So I'm probably gonna be changing this list in the draft. Because we already know, and that's one of my questions to you, if you want an agricultural use, or if you'd like to have a vacant, and then attach your future land use to it. So you can have vacant commercial, vacant residential, vacant industrial. And that might be the best option for the village, because that gives you the most information to outside developers that this is vacant land, and this is what we're guiding it for. And they can see it right on the future land use map.
Yeah, I don't know any other way to do it, or anything, I think that's.
Right.
well, I guess I don't really understand that, because like the land cover map, that's trying to signify what is here today.
Right.
The future land use map is what we picture it being developed into. Wouldn't the one on the map on the left be where you put the vacant land designation?
We could do it that way.
comp plan, say for the future land use of this is a residential, commercial. And when we do get into specifics, I want to talk about some areas of that, but, you know, the plan commission could deny a development if it's not consistent with the comp plan. And probably should even update the future land use map if
Yeah.
we want to do something other than what the future land use map says.
Yeah.
Then it's supposed to be amended.
Yeah,
The comp plan should be amended if it's gonna be a different land use, and then the zoning.
and the zoning to follow.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so,
But we don't do a good job of that, or haven't done that in the past very.
Well, it's in the, I will tell you, we have 3 or 4 years of ordinances now into the company, so hopefully, I don't know how long it's gonna take them to get that, you know, the online ordinance, but, yeah.
I just,
They're 3 to 4 years behind in reflecting changes to your ordinance.
I don't know if some of them may be there, but all of them aren't there.
Okay.
You go to like Woodville's or Roberts, I think has it, they have in their online, they have a section in there for basically all pending,
Okay.
okay? So all of that information is just plugged there, so your users can have an access to it. 'Cause that's how I found the solar thing in Woodville, because that was there. It wasn't codified or anything yet, but at least you could see it,
Wow.
that was available. So that'd be a feature, it'd be nice to have turned on.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to look into that.
Well, and to add a little bit more confusion, there is that existing land use map in the June 11th draft plan. That's a 4th set of land use categories based on the property tax assessment data. So your categories are exempt. The residential category includes all single-family and multifamily, so it doesn't separate those two uses. It has commercial, it has manufacturing, which we could qualify as industrial. But then it has other and undeveloped. And it has that, I said it already, but that exempt category, which is not very helpful in comparison to zoning and land use. Those are your two largest powerful policy maps and documents that you have legal grounding and findings
Yeah.
for. And the property tax assessment data just is, as I was saying before, I think adds just a little bit of confusion to this chapter. But we did include it in the draft. I unfortunately did not put it on any of the slides in front of you. Does anybody have the draft chapter itself? I didn't print that map.
I do.
Okay, you have the draft chapter. I wonder, or Mark, if you could
Yeah, I can just,
bring that up, because that is one of my questions, if you want to keep that assessment map in here as a snapshot of what the assessed land uses were in 2026.
you know, what page that's on.
Yeah,
Yeah, but shouldn't-
77.
Shouldn't that be
Thank you.
close
Thank
to
you so
what our
much.
zoning is, zoning maps?
They're two different things, and that's the inherent problem with this is very confusing for, especially outside appraisers, realtors, people that call, and they say, well, we see the county's got this classified as, let's say, ag, and it's zoned residential, it's some area to be developed. It's confusing, so I don't, maybe there's a purpose you put these in comp plans, I don't know, but it's confusing.
But that's why we don't have an ag district
No, we
in our
don't.
zoning. That's why you
Pay
run
taxes
into
on what the use is, not what the zoning is.
You're right, and that's what But that's where it gets confused sometimes when people look at
For sure.
Because
properties and they say, well, it's,
if it's brought in the village, we assign something to it. Within 1 year, I think is what the limit is.
Right.
Within 1 year, we have to put something on, tag,
Great.
yeah, we usually put something on as soon as it comes in.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to designate in fact, we do it before it comes in, that John D. Farms property, right now, they want to annex in, is it 15 acres? And we have to put the current land use the town does, and then we have to put our projected future land use, so I put
Yeah.
residential. And then when it comes in, we have to give it a zoning designation.
So they're bringing it in to develop it?
I think to sell to developer, but they want to get it in the village first
Yeah,
before they try to sell it.
so they can get more money for it.
Yeah, with the land on Cedar on the other side of 220th,
Yeah.
isn't in yet,
No, because it's still,
so,
Emmert's land is still in the township yet, so you'll isolate that Emmert's land. If John D. brings that in on that side over there, you'll isolate Emmert's land in the middle of it then.
Oh, right,
Well, you will,
yeah.
yeah. If they bring in the 15 acres on this side of it, on the east side of their land there, John D.'s land, where the EMS building is, you'll isolate Emmert's, who was here before, you know, because that, when you got the road right away going through Emmert's land, see, so. But, and I don't know if you can do that or not.
Well,
Well,
he'll get a chance to yell and scream about it at least.
Well, yeah, but that's.
there's other parcels that are islands that are in town that
Yeah.
surrounded by the village, there's a couple others at least that I know of. They're not
No,
very
but
big.
when he did come to us to put that drive-through,
Right.
he wasn't looking to annex his land
No,
in.
no, no, obviously not, because they don't want to pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
He's still
He
farmland
was
taxes.
keeping it egg,
Right, yeah.
guess he could become an island then.
Let's circle back to
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
I'll ask again
Let's
after
get on track.
reviewing the future land use map. I know it's so confusing. We can always change this, and we probably will, the map descriptions on page 72. I'm thinking we may wanna just delete the land cover from that. Or what we can do is just use the zoning map
Yeah.
as the existing uses.
Yeah,
Because it's a
Yeah.
form of land use, and it does state what existing regulations apply to the properties.
does that, land cover map fit back in, the forest use or whatever we had before? We put that in another section? We have to?
It already exists in natural resources.
Okay, then we don't need
Yeah. And the reason that, we're most likely, I think, taking the existing assessment land use map out of here is just to reduce confusion. But as long as we reference the zoning map as your existing land uses, then we're covered under the Wisconsin statute, which requires a map of existing land uses.
Yeah.
But that's why we have these map descriptions here, is to try to explain it. That we're trying to meet the Wisconsin statute, but they don't say you have to use assessment land use data.
Right.
They don't say you have to use land cover. They don't say you have to use zoning map. We can use any one of those three and we'll meet the statute. But I just need to record it in this section. But we'll circle back and decide in a minute. Okay, so also on page 72, if you wanna go to the next slide, there's a map consistency requirement in the statute. And basically, this requires that your village ordinances must be consistent with the comprehensive plan. And specifically, the zoning ordinance map must be consistent with the future land use map in the comprehensive plan. And so maintaining consistency between that zoning map and the land use map ensures that development decisions support long-term community goals, promotes orderly and efficient growth, guides infrastructure investments, provides a clear and legally defensible policy framework, and it enhances transparency and public trust. So any questions about that text or that consistency requirement? That's on page 72. Great. We're on to slide 21, and this is where I'm hoping, Mark, you'll hand out the survey. I have a survey document to help us get through confirmation of your future land use classification descriptions. It's 4 pages, but it is in 12-point font, so I do think that it'll go quickly. And what I'm hoping you will do is, I'm just gonna give you a moment at each element of each of the land use classification descriptions, including the example uses, the zoning recommendations, and the density of the development as applicable. And I'm gonna have you just jot down whether or not you agree with each line, so that we're all on the same page about what you want your land use classifications to be. And then whether or not the example uses are correct, the zoning recommendations are correct, and the density.
You just want one of these filled out for our entire board?
Well, I was hoping to gather the information actually right here.
Right,
Sure,
I'm
sure,
saying,
let's
do
go
we
on.
want to go through these and do it as a group?
Yeah,
You want one answer?
yes, but
Okay.
here's what I was gonna, great question, sorry if I didn't describe it well enough. I was only gonna call on anybody that disagreed.
Okay.
So if you just, we'll start at the top,
Okay.
I'll give you a couple of seconds, and then, did anybody disagree?
Okay.
And then that's all we'll hear. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right, so these are the proposed land use classifications on the future land use map. Single-family residential. Any disagreement with that classification? That's exactly as it's stated in 2006. I probably should have added that.
Does that include, 1 and 2 family? That's kinda how we used it in the past.
That's line 3. You're jumping a little bit ahead, Mark. Thank you though for that comment. Are you okay with having this as the label? You could also call it low-density residential. And then for your multifamily residential, you could call it medium to high-density residential. If you wanna keep
Well,
to
I
land
think
use
in
class.
terms of current, the R2 is closer to
Single family.
single-family than it is to multifamily.
Is it, okay,
Yeah, but see, this
On
gets,
my street, it's R2, and there are lots of houses in there, and there's a few scattered duplexes in there.
Okay.
so, most of these zoning districts would allow single family.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how you deal with that.
I know.
Because these are examples, so you have single-family residential, the 2 examples are R1 and R1M. And then you got multifamily residential, but the multifamily is not all, it's not inclusive just to multifamily. So, I don't know if you put in parentheses, the districts also include single-family, or does that get to be too much, you know?
And if I
Yeah.
may, on page 4, so if you turn to the back of this survey, I added this table this morning.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry,
this one right there too.
thank you. Everybody got one? You should have
Mark
asked that.
these ones. Oh, you have them.
Yeah. That would be
Okay.
free.
Um,
I did,
So these are your Village of Baldwin zoning districts, starting on the left column. And it's the number and the name. And the minimum lot size. And then I put my calculation of divided by the number of units. So I did minimum lot size divided by the number of units that are allowed. And in some of the districts, you'll see there are several different number of units allowed. And that equals the minimum lot size per unit. And then if you take the acre square footage of 43,560 and divide that by the minimum per unit square footage, that equals your units per acre. The units per acre column is the most important here, because this is what we'll use to meet the Wisconsin statute requirement. We need to identify your residential minimum per acre and then maximum per acre. And this shows you your minimum per acre is 4 units. And everything will be covered. And it's the maximum that I do wanna ask you about. Because when I get to the bottom of this table, we're in R4, the multifamily residential district allows 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. And then it states plus 2,000 square feet per unit over 5 units. And I wasn't sure how to interpret that. If it meant that you add 2,000 square feet onto the 4 unit minimum lot size of
Yes,
14,000.
exactly, that's what it means.
You know right away, wonderful, oh, I'm so happy. Okay, then that line needs to change. And so your maximum is actually only 13.61 per acre, which brings us closer to those original illustrations that we looked at before from AI. I went up to 16, which is a village of this size, a rural village, the average. And that question is there for you, as to how dense would you like to state your maximum within your comprehensive plan and attached to your future land use map?
How do you handle the apartments down south of the freeway being developed? Because that's C1H, it's commercial.
What is the minimum lot size, or what is the density on that?
That's a
development?
PUD,
That's PUD.
it's
PUD.
an overlay, so it's just contingent on what they bring us. Right, Eric, is that the best way to put that?
Yeah, PUD can, reduce zoning restrictions such as setbacks and.
I mean, there's still limits, you know, it's not
Yeah.
like we'd allow anything, but it's kind
Right,
of above all this.
Does
That is
anybody
high
know-
density.
Do you know how many units per acre the development is?
What, there's 85 units, and what is your, 10? Close to 10 acres out there?
so that whole parcel, including the stormwater pond, is 6.3.
Oh,
So they're on probably
Probably half.
4.
Yeah, I don't know if they're on that much either.
Right,
I don't think they are, I guess they're more on
3.
2.5 acres if they're at that, which includes parking lot and
well,
garages.
they wanted to use the same plot of land that they own to make a mirrored image of this one. So I would assume about half,
Yeah,
or less.
yeah, right, yeah, that's, yeah, it's
So, Eric, the 6 acres is what they're building in right now, that doesn't include the other parcel,
Oh,
or that's what I missed.
okay.
For example,
You know,
because they have two,
that's,
Is that all of their land they own there,
They don't
or is
own
that
it.
what
It's-
they're building on?
it's what they're building on, what's south of
Okay.
Gracie.
Okay,
that's what I thought, so there's another parcel they own there.
there is, okay.
Yeah, on the other side of the road.
Okay,
So if you have 85 units and 6 acres, is there, you're not using it all?
It's 13.49. So it's just under the amount that you allow in the R4 district for 5+
so
units.
that's good,
It's meeting that requirement.
yeah.
So we maybe want to do a maximum of 14 units per acre. Both of these are, well, this is 13.49, so however you treat your decimal points. Would it go to 13.5 and then that's rounded up to 14?
I'm not sure if you even round up higher.
Yeah, yeah.
To stay at 13?
Next The
No,
nearest,
like
the nearest
the nearest
midpoint.
16.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, go to 16?
You could go up to 16 if that's reasonable for this size community, because if you take off half of that stormwater,
Yeah,
let's say that, because the stormwater is for the entire Gracie Drive,
right.
Yeah.
they would still need to do their own stormwater, but if you even half it, you know, are you gonna be in that 16 units per acre range, probably?
Or even if they wanted to go to 4 stories instead of 3 stories.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing too.
Well, cut the acreage in half and 85 units. That's
So,
probably your worst case. They're darn close to it. You got 3 acres divided by 85 units.
Is, what's high density covered under then, all that stuff, like, are we still talking?
4
yeah, that part
is
is
high density, the highest density, but this is a plenty of development, so it's an overlay in a commercial
That's basically
district.
double,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't fit that totally, but
Right,
if we applied the maximum per acre,
Yeah.
I suppose that's one thing we could look at when we review future ones, would be, or maybe you did look at that when you reviewed it, was, you know, like, what's the maximum density in any district? I guess I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, but on anything like that, they have to have the water management system to it. So
Yeah.
That
that's
limits.
right to have that
And that'll
figured in there
dictate
somehow.
how many units they have.
yeah, so what we're trying to figure out right now, like that, you know, max number of units per acre,
Yeah.
is that enforceable? If it's in our comp plan, then it's enforceable in our zoning code?
The zoning map and district ordinance would trump the, would be the regulation to enforce.
Sure,
So zoning is going to, you won't be able to build, well, and here's where I would need to keep on going with my calculation of 18,000 square feet for 6 units. Then your zoning ordinance states 20,000 for a 7-unit. And I don't know if I would get to a place where you can even get over 16. But I don't think so. I think it will always, I didn't run the calculation because I wasn't sure of the interpretation yet. And I thought 21 did seem high, or 22 units seemed like quite elite.
I think that we
But
would probably approach this
basic-
kind of is that anything beyond R4, it's in a commercial zone.
it's PUD.
Yeah, PUD
And-
in a commercial.
And that's why you have this maximum density, to sort of protect you from the PUD scenario, or, just
You don't want to put,
having sky rise.
you don't want to
Right.
put that type of development in a residential situation.
No, you wouldn't normally.
Sure. So maybe 14 is fine.
Quick question, like the ones that get built at like in Lake Elmo and Woodbury, like 4-story, 5-story,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
condos. What are those zoned under usually?
I bet you they're under a
PUD.
yeah, too, but it might be, underlying, could be residential still or commercial.
Some kind of multifamily district, I suppose.
Yeah,
Or, yeah, designate multifamily, one.
Could be, yeah, because there's so many of them.
right, yeah, size-wise too, but,
What does your zoning ordinance state in that C1 highway district about residential density?
Doesn't,
It doesn't address it,
it just says that it's residential apartments are allowed, basically.
as a conditional use, they are,
PUD.
which requires a public hearing and special review,
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's an overlay to the existing land use district.
and that's the C1H district?
Yes,
Are there any of existing apartment buildings in any of the other commercial zones that you know of?
think that's the first one.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
worth
think
one.
that's the
that
first
are
one.
high density.
Yeah,
There's apartments allowed or in commercial districts that are 1 or 2 units above buildings. and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
Oh,
yeah.
But high density,
What about that abandoned old apartment off of the end of Main Street there, what's those owned under?
That's,
what about that, yeah?
that would
That's
be,
all
C
historic.
two.
Historic at this point.
That would probably still be C two. That would
That's,
be-
yeah, that's coming, the hammer's coming down.
Okay.
So I
What a
think,
joke. It's sitting there with no windows, wide open,
Yep.
really?
party's over, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pouring rain, I drive by there and there's open, like, so nothing else is gonna happen until that gets inspected again, so we'll see.
Well, the county owns it.
No, it's privately owned.
Privately owned, yeah.
I thought it went to the county,
No,
They
yeah,
did.
good.
and they offered it to us, and we're like, no.
No, but somebody else bought it.
Oh, they did, they were gonna renovate it, but yeah,
Take
but
it.
no.
Somebody else.
Anyway, that's before my time.
Asbestos abatement, they sold them.
When they get this asbestos abatement done with that, will be a fine shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Asbestos abatement.
But asbestos abatement is what, $120,000 just for asbestos abatement on this thing?
I guess it's probably triple that now.
You know, the thing with asbestos abatement is, asbestos goes to the same landfill that all the other trash goes to.
Right?
It's gotta be marked,
Yeah.
put in a, it can be put even in a dumpster with other stuff, as long as the dumpster says contains asbestos. So some of this stuff really gets overblown, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Wow.
It really does.
But you just can't do it yourself.
No, probably not. And you have to take precautions, I mean, I get that. Yeah.
It'll get resolved somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope, if we have to condemn that building, it could help us, because it's not gonna be cheap, but something's gotta happen.
thank you.
I guess I tried to do it.
Yeah, County should have kept this, what should have happened.
Yeah, they should.
They should have
The
been responsible to tear
maximum
it down.
density in the comprehensive plan will assist the village legally. Because your zoning district requirements will eventually be over that amount. Does that make sense? If someone came forward in an R4 district and wanted to develop a 10-unit building, it would be more density than the 14 per acre.
I think-
So then you would have to identify whether or not they would be rezoned to commercial, which it won't help them there either, because currently you don't have, that land use doesn't have a maximum density. That was gonna be my next question. I think that for that commercial, for your multifamily residential land use classification, I highly recommend that we add that C1H district to the recommended zoning districts. If you wanna continue to have the residential PUD as a conditional use permit, then what would be your recommended maximum density? Because in that district, this is the regulation that you would rely on. I know that we talked about 14 and 16, and currently you're not over 14.
Yeah, and the way it's structured now,
Makes
anything
sense.
like that would be a conditional use permit, a PUD. And then that PUDs are, they're not like a zoning ordinance where you have, 1 through 12.
Yeah.
They're more broad,
Yeah.
and they rely on the other zoning districts for guidance and effect, but I think you go by what's in the comp as a maximum.
I
Because I don't know if you put a maximum in there because it's not a permitted it's not listed as a conditional use. Now, you could change the zoning district to say, instead of a PUD, it's a conditional use, and then you could put it in there. But as a PUD, I'm not sure how you do that. Except go back to the comp plan, and the comp plan says this is the maximum number of units per acre that are allowed anywhere in the village.
That's what we,
And-
we need to get to that because the statute requires it.
Right, but if you say it in here, does that, is that in the comp plan, does that meet the statute then?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I think we need to do. We're gonna look at the zoning ordinance after this is done, like, I won't say immediately, but shortly thereafter, we need to do that.
I could
And
see
update the
that,
whole thing.
I could see on these residentials there, we had a,
Maybe that's when we'll address this?
Provide consistency.
I don't know.
Yes, and as we're
4.5.
sort of outside of the survey, and if I could guide us back to this, that would be wonderful, because I have a few other questions for you on each one of the descriptions. And you are answering my questions, and thank you so much. But back to the single-family residential classification on your land use map. Maybe we should just go to go to the zoning recommendations, line 3. R1, R1M, and I heard we should add R2 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Might I recommend then that we change this, the name of this, to low-density residential? Okay, and then to example uses, we can add two-family. So single-family and two-family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. So we'll call this low-density residential. And then the revised density on line 4, I should have put numbers on the lines, that would have been really helpful. I've revised the density based on that table we were talking about at 4 units per acre minimum, and then the maximum of 6 units per acre. That's allowed in the R1M. But I may need to go up now that we have single family in there. We need to go to 9. So in your low density, you'll have 4 to 9. Or maybe you just want one residential district, and you just want one minimum and one maximum. The only thing about that is
Our
that,
setbacks and stuff like that are a little bit different in lot sizes.
well, and I understand where this issue is coming up, and Eric's question of what regulation will you be looking at? And it will be the zoning ordinance if it's more restrictive, which it would be in the R1 and the R1M districts. You can't have 9 units per acre.
Right.
But what your land use map is showing you is just the general land uses that are allowed at a glance. And it's really meant for outside developers to take a glance at the land use map and see if they're in the ballpark. Is it commercial? Cause I wanna do commercial here. Is it residential? I wanna do residential here. But then you get to the nitty-gritty of meeting with the village board and talking about zoning district standards
On
that
your,
apply.
like the 4 per acre, okay, on Franklin where I live, okay?
Okay,
A lot of single-family houses in there, so they're gonna meet that 4 per acre most of the time. I have a duplex, but it's a upper lower duplex. Okay, so for my acreage of land, I I could be in that 9 range. But most of the other duplexes that are down the road there, they're side by side. So if you take your bigger lot, slide it down the middle, okay, basically it's 2 lots, you're back in that 4 range again.
Okay,
I'm odd just because of the layout of the building.
sure. As long as you fall within both of the standards, that's ideal.
But see, when that was built, it was
And
It
it sounds
was-
like
it was
you will.
single family,
Mhm.
and then they basically R2 was added at that point in time, so they could have the 2 families along that time frame. And then when we went to R3, when we went to the cottages and stuff all here,
Oh, that's ours, right?
R3 to R4.
I think keeping 2 separate low density and medium to high density residential is a good idea. And even if you want to include the R2 in that low density and you go up to 9, your zoning ordinance will protect you and your existing single family districts, things. So let's do that. We're gonna go back to this survey, page 1.
Mhm.
The revised density now will state 4 units per acre and a maximum of 9 units per acre. Because that's what's allowed in your R2 residential district. And I'll add R2 there. Does that sound okay to everyone?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
And we've got another chance at this next month.
No.
Then the multifamily residential, we'll switch that to state medium to high.
Yeah.
Medium to high density. Density residential, and that's going to include your R3, your R4, and I'd like to add the C1H district. Because that's where your multifamily future land use, it might show up on the
With-
new one. I have that question for you.
With a bracket, a PUD on it behind it.
Well, we can create a designation that's mixed use. That shows up a lot on future land use maps. You just call it mixed use, and then in the description, you state, this is mixed use, PUD is required by our zoning ordinance, and you can have a variety of uses based on the surrounding uses, based on the transportation demand, and the community goals. Also, utility, availability and roads.
So can you do that, like have single family, multifamily, then mixed use? And have the mixed use, then you could say C1H
Yeah.
as mixed use instead
Yeah.
of saying that in multifamily?
Because C1H can be commercial too.
Yes,
that-
however, I'm only adding it because you have an existing development, and I wouldn't wanna make it non-conforming by not including this zoning recommendation. So what we're reviewing here on this survey, underneath the category that's currently written as multifamily residential, I'm at line 2, the zoning recommendations. And we're crossing out R2 and moving that up under low density or single family. And then all I'm doing is adding the zoning district of C1H so that your current development that was allowed as a PUD in that zoning district is allowed. And it's conforming to your comprehensive plan and your future land use map. Even though it says medium to high density residential on that square, cause that's what I'm gonna ask you next, is where is that development, so that we can change it to medium density.
And maybe on one of the 11x17s or on this map, would somebody circle that parcel? You guys know where it is?
Where the apartment is?
Yeah,
where it's being built.
where that 85 unit that Eric was talking about on 6.3 acres, and it's zone C1.
That's right,
Right there.
right there,
It's here.
right there. That lot there.
And the parcels aren't on here, so
So it's
just
just,
circle it here.
well, not, because this is actually commercial in here.
Johnson Tractor.
Johnson Tractor is
Oh,
over.
that's up there, okay.
That's up there.
Oh, you're right.
This lot here, and the water pond is right in here, so actually, it's, this line here is where
Go ahead
that,
and write on here.
those 85 units are right there.
Okay, it's this.
That giant triangle.
Wonderful.
It's a lot of buildings in a small area.
And what that will show up as is medium to high density residential, or the orange on this draft map. So that it's an allowed use. And it's okay if you wanna keep it zone C1H with what we'll propose on this map, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're saying residential is being built, so you gotta include it in here to say that we have
Right.
residential being built in a C1.
Exactly, yeah, because it's allowed as a conditional use permit as a planned unit development PUD.
Well,
It's a lot of
technically, it's a residential housing unit or complex in a business district.
And if you go to the next line, where I have the revised density for our
Yeah.
medium to high density residential, I had 4 units per acre up to 22, but should I change that to 14? Based on our discussion earlier,
Right.
that you don't have anything over 14 in the village?
Yep, I think
You wanna keep it at that?
Well,
Or,
the only thing is you got, low density is going 4 to 9-ish, and then you're going 14 to 22, you got
No,
a gap in there.
4 to
What?
14.
Four to
14.
She's
Well, and-
it's from 4 to 14. Because R3 allows a minimum of just over 4,
yeah,
4.5.
So you're saying all residential units allow 4?
yes, there's overlap in the districts. We have 2 districts, because you're only going up to 9
Mhm.
in your low density residential district, but you'll go up to potentially 14 in your high density.
I just think how the zoning was written in the past, it was kind of, okay, I want single family here.
Yeah,
They want to keep the mobile home over here, and a lot of that was developed about what the land would let you do.
yeah,
Now, you may want to put this apartment complex here, but the land ain't gonna let you do it. Not around Baldwin. You got water or swamp or, that apartment works out there just because of
Right.
what the land is out there. A little bit of land, it's flat land.
sure.
You got the roads and everything are there to support that type of thing.
When he cut the acreage in half, what was it? I didn't hear him say that number when he did it.
6.3 acres, he said.
Yeah, but when he
85
cut that in half.
No,
it
that's-
It was
was
20, it was like
Number of
27.
units?
Oh, yeah, how many units?
13.49.
13.4, thank you.
Okay, so it came to- So yeah, 14 units.
So we rounded up to 14, sure, we're up to 14.
thoughts? Should we just draft it at 14 for now? Okay.
Yep.
Draft it, and we'll get another chance next month. So the commercial land use classification is about halfway down the table of the first page of the survey. The example uses I grabbed from our economic development chapter as retail, office, restaurants, financial, healthcare services, and businesses. And village, commercial, or business areas are listed and generally defined in the economic development chapter and include the historic Main Street, Highway 94, Baldwin Industrial Park, Highway 12 North, Highway 12 East, and Highway 63 Central. I mean, we don't need to have that right here, and I might just strike that to make it a little bit shorter. Because we're gonna go through the opportunity areas, which are in fact the business areas. And I have that question for you, if you wanna keep that. So I'm gonna delete those couple of lines under example uses. Does anybody have any other changes or things that they'd like to add to the example uses for the commercial district? Again,
You're getting rid of all of it, Nicole?
no, just from village, commercial, or business areas.
Okay.
That sentence, I'm gonna get rid of. And just keep example uses, retail, office, restaurants, financial, healthcare, services, and
That
businesses.
makes sense.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Then the zoning recommendations for the commercial land use classification include C1, C1H, and C2. Does that sound right? Those are your commercial zoning districts? Great.
And the difference between basically C1 and C1H is C1H is basically along 63. State gets a say in what they want, what you can do there.
See when it's highway.
Yeah.
But not 94 highway. You can see that right, yeah.
Well, that's the industrial park along 94, that's I think C1H. And the back lots are industrial.
Oh, right.
But that's a 94 highway 94 district, and then that at 53.
Right.
So that takes you back on 55th.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mile or half mile, whatever it's defined as.
Okay.
We'll get back to the map in just a second. The industrial land use classification, which is at the bottom of page 1 of the survey, the example uses I drafted were manufacturing, auto, warehouse, trades and contractors, food processing, or agricultural support industries. Does that sound okay? Then the zoning recommendations are your 1 industrial district, I1.
Yep.
Good, great, we're at page 2. Is the parks. Example uses are village parks, open space, and public land. Does that sound okay? Then, zoning recommendation is OC, which, what does that stand for? Outdoor Conservancy?
Open Conservancy, probably.
Open Space Conservancy. I can put that in. And then, and we're okay with that, that's your only park zoning. Public institutional combines the 2006 categories of institutional and public. Is that okay? to just combine them as the same category? Or was there a specific reason to keep them separate? You know? Okay, great. Then example uses are the municipal center, village hall, police department, library, school, church. Does that sound okay?
Do we need to think about EMS?
Oh, that's a good idea, yes.
Now, fire is not ours, but it's in village limits. Do we need to think about fire?
Yeah, the village
Yeah.
owns the building.
Oh, we do, yeah, we do.
I mean, we'd
Yeah,
keep it
you're
in
right,
that
We do
same
own the building.
classification, I think, but you could add EMS to
So I
this.
feel like if we're including police, we need to do EMS and fire as well.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to
Yeah.
just make it public safety or something. As a
Well,
general
I
use.
can add on
Because
these,
they're
yeah,
all
that's
in
great.
different land areas, I'd like to keep them separate.
What covers the sewer plant?
What zone?
And, we
The
have
sewer
it
plant,
on
the
the
wells.
draft land use map, we have it as blue.
Which is,
Okay, that's okay. And it would be public and institutional. So this is the 2026 draft future land use definition.
well, then that's, it would be here then.
Right.
What
I
we're
think
talking
that makes
about,
the most
public
sense.
institutional.
Yep, absolutely.
All the village.
Yes, I
Okay.
written down to add that, both emergency services and fire protection.
Mhm.
I'll put under example uses. And hopefully that's fire, right?
And EMS is just off to the back behind it.
Do I have it on here?
Probably not.
If I
Probably
don't,
not.
would you circle it?
Where is
Not
this?
so much, but
It's,
circle it and label it.
it's out here
EMS.
probably somewhere.
Is it within the boundary of?
It
the
should
village?
be.
Boundaries though.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's in the boundary.
Cedar the other way.
It has to be.
So that's out, it's off that road there, that road.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll change that one. And then we're to the zoning recommendations for the public institutional district, or classification rather. I have C1, C1H, C2, and M1.
Is M1 municipal?
No, that's my medical.
And,
Oh, okay.
oh, there you go.
That,
Why is the hospital not
we
listed?
created that one when the hospital went up.
And why is the hospital not listed?
Well, and maybe
It's
It ought to
not
be.
public.
and maybe
Oh,
that's,
it's private.
It's private.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore.
well, and that's why I kept both of those statements, because it doesn't necessarily mean it's public. It's just institutional. Because churches are here too. Churches are an
Oh, yeah, churches are-
institution.
Yeah, but they're,
Oh.
but they're privately owned.
And I wondered if that was the reason that you kept them separate, but then someone needs to help me identify what's the institutions, what's the public. And then you
Or
designate
if
a
they're
different
together.
color. But I
But you're right, if
figured
we're looking at institutions, then
then the hospital
hospital and church are fine. If we're looking at public, hospital and church need to go.
and
And for churches, aren't
the
they in
hospital is
residential
commercial
zoning?
here.
Yeah,
Then
C1.
But we would
it's church.
switch it to
Yeah.
blue to
C1.
identify it under the public institutional based on what you would want. So,
The hospital is C1H, Eric, is that?
No, M1.
M1, medical.
Yeah.
We created that zone when the hospital was built,
So that whole,
whole complex. Everything behind the
For the
NW.
new hospital?
For
Or-
the new-
okay.
Everything behind the NW and the gas station out there. Is M1.
Give them the entire lot,
Yep.
which they're gonna be using anyway.
that's right here roughly.
Mhm.
And would you want to include it in the institutional
If we're keeping churches, we
land
need to,
use? Okay.
or if, that's up to the group.
I think it should be separate.
Identified?
Yeah. You got the nursing home too, that's right.
Yeah.
You could. Where is that on there?
What?
I don't know what street closed.
It's just over here a little ways.
That way.
Do this
I couldn't
here.
tell you where it's at.
And you should grab the, here we go. Let me go grab the zoning map
Okay.
too. That'll have the
Find
area
out.
on it.
Gotta be ready, it's off of mine,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Elm in the next street. It used to be Elm.
This map. So here's the zone map with an aerial overlay. Where's the hospital? We need to find.
It should be,
Cedar.
I would guess it's right here. Fred.
Find Elm and it's south of that.
Is it off
to
of
the next
Vandenberg
block.
Street?
It's on Elm.
Mark, off Vandenberg or not?
No,
No? Then it's gotta be up in here then.
Elm, find Elm Street.
Evergreen, elm,
Elm.
here's cedar, birch,
Keep going.
cedar,
It's either gotta be,
Elm's out down here someplace.
elm,
then it's gotta be here. The nursing home.
90.
No, that's,
Yeah, that's what do you call it?
that's
It's
a
a
church.
church, that's a
This
church.
it?
It's right here's a nursing home then,
Yeah,
right there,
1600.
yeah, right there.
it was there and they expanded out to there basically.
Off of Birchwood.
Mhm.
Yep. Cause it's called Birchwood.
Here's Birchwood.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's gotta be right
good,
there.
it's already
Right there,
identified.
See,
Wonderful.
been there for a long time, so.
Yeah,
It was
oh,
on the
that's
last time
good.
we done.
That is great news. I'm just gonna set it here. Okay, so we have, I think these are good zoning recommendations for the public institutional.
Right, but what are we calling a public institution? Are we leaving church, hospital, and nursing home, or are we taking them up?
Take them out myself.
I wrote down to keep them. Your old land use map had the nursing home and churches in there.
Oh, good.
Well, I gotta believe is the hospital a tax exempt property? Churches are.
Oh, but,
Churches are.
the hospital, I believe, is structured as a 501c3 corporation, so I assume they're paying real estate taxes. Because any, a
I would think
nonprofit
so.
doesn't exempt you from real estate
Right.
taxes.
The hospital is exempt under the
Unless it's a
assessment
different coding.
land use from this year.
That's why our exempt thing went up to the roof.
Right.
Yeah, right, yeah, if that's the case.
So they aren't paying property taxes on that. But it is a privately owned institution.
Why would they not when they're a
Yeah, that's
private
what I don't
institution
understand.
making private money?
Right, that's what I don't understand either, why they're gonna be paying.
That's why our taxes go up more.
Well,
I don't know.
you know, to me, I don't think, unless it's some state statute that allows the hospital to be, you know, non-taxable entity, but it's like if the building was owned and leased to the hospital, it would be taxed. So it's, you know, to me, that's, you know, it's not real clear to me.
Question to be answered.
Right, yeah,
Well,
right, yeah.
for now, is it okay if we draft the public institutional inclusive of all of these uses? And then this next draft will show that hospital area as institutional.
Yeah,
Basically, these public places are basically exempt properties for the most part.
Well, it looks like that, yes. So we could call it exempt, draw it closer to the assessment data.
Public institutional
Easier
slash
on
exempt.
future us. But
The wonderful Google AI machine that you asked the question, does Western Wisconsin Health and Baldwin, Wisconsin pay property taxes, comes back as saying Western Wisconsin Health, as a nonprofit healthcare organization, typically does not pay property taxes. Nonprofit entities often qualify for tax exempt status.
But it's
If
not-
you want to believe
Okay,
Yeah.
But healthcare is not, healthcare is not a nonprofit.
Most
But
healthcare
they're nonprofit.
is nonprofit though.
Entity.
But a 501c3 is technically a nonprofit,
Yeah, oh, okay.
that's why.
Most of them, those organizations are nonprofits.
Right.
We're all well aware that hospitals make
See,
money.
well,
Yeah.
with them being 501c3, then any donations, then if you're the donee person, it's tax exempt for you.
Oh, okay, true.
So you
Well,
can-
and
That's the whole-
typically, police
So
departments,
if you, anybody wants to donate to the hospital,
Right.
so
please feel
does
free.
the fire department.
See
They're
what we get
all
for the tax.
Right.
employers, bless you.
Right.
When it comes down to it, they're providing income and occupation.
You're providing.
Well, aren't some of the largest healthcare companies
Yeah.
nonprofit?
Yes,
Most of
Right?
them are structured that way.
Yeah.
yes.
So, they've got to figure out. Unfortunately.
It's an
That's what
interesting
it's all about.
discussion.
I gotta talk with my attorney here.
Should I say, under the example uses, I'm gonna add emergency services, fire protection, hospital, and nursing home.
Well, and then we included wastewater treatment. Right?
Nope, I didn't yet, thank you. Should have. And this, in this category is also library, school, municipal center, village hall, and police department. And what I could state is, these uses are most often assessed as exempt.
You could just say most often they're tax exempt.
Yeah,
I think you could just say it that way.
okay, say it that way.
Yeah, no, sure.
Great. Any other zoning districts that we should include here? C1, C1H, C2, and M1 were the ones that were included in the blue parcels when I compared it to the zoning map.
So,
Oh, some of your, well, the school was designated residential. I was gonna ask you about that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So your residential district
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah.
Should I include that as a zoning district then?
I think so.
Or was that a mistake on your zoning map?
Well, that, they don't pay taxes either.
So
Right.
it's,
One of the recommendations that I wrote here was to consider creating a zoning district for public and institutional uses to identify community facilities. And community facilities is another word or term for all of these example uses. But community facilities also includes parks, which you have a
Oh.
totally
Yeah.
separate designation for.
Well,
So I think we're good at listing them out and determining that most of them are tax exempt,
Okay.
so that future us can identify what we put
I
in
wonder
here
how big
really
that blue
easily.
area is in our village, if it's 50% of our village.
the parks and such?
No, if you take the taxes down, I wanna know how big that area is compared to, how many acres that is compared to the total acreage of the village.
And that information is actually right at the beginning of your land use chapter,
Mm.
where we have the exempt acres that are assessed as such. And you determine that it's 36% of the overall acreage
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that, so it's over one, wow.
Well, the largest part, Mark, is when they did the sewer plant out there, because all that land was acquired.
Yeah.
That was farmland before, so that whole, all that land out there to the railroad tracks is all exempt.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's where the
yeah.
largest amount of it came from.
But when I look at this map, it doesn't really look like 1/3. And so I'm wondering, do I have all of the properties?
Well, the hospital's not blue.
Hospital's
for-
not
Oh, there you go.
That's a big
Yes,
chunk.
and then
the
this
county-
one is gonna be
Yeah.
EMS.
No,
Or no, that's the
That's the
residential.
apartment.
Here's
That's
the
the
EMS.
yeah. EMS is small.
Could put the county.
County, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think that is.
That's just the stormwater, the little blue is stormwater, that whole parcel.
The gray is the column.
Will you
Yeah.
circle it?
Yeah.
I
So
should
it's
know
this,
this, I've been there. And I can look at the aerial. That whole area is
We gotta get them paintbrushes
Yeah.
out and there's color.
a clean blue.
It's
Yeah.
this full-
How many gallons of blue do you get?
And we're gonna take that out of this opportunity area too.
Yeah, okay.
And, or, when we get there, what were you looking at?
Well, the United Civic Center building is
Yep.
parks.
Right?
Well,
Oh,
that's-
but it's probably exempt on that
Oh, yeah.
assessor.
Yeah, it's gotta be exempt.
Well, it's exempt, it's a park.
It's zone park, that's why,
It's zoned as a park, that's
Yeah.
that makes sense.
and it did look, schools and churches are permitted by conditional use in residential
Yeah,
districts.
sure, okay, sure, yeah.
So,
Great, so maybe keep that.
Is Woodville's in, or is it, I
Well-
mean, that's Woodville, we don't care, but is Viking Middle School technically residential? There's some, it's surrounded by some houses, but not on the other side.
could be, yeah.
The old school probably was, but the new school,
I don't know what your school is.
Should I include all
Old
the
school.
residential districts then?
old school was in the residential
To the
area.
zoning recommendations?
I think so.
And then the new school is kind of, we're putting in the industrial
Or
park,
that one.
commercial.
And
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But there are houses on one side. I don't know.
Guys, districts.
They were placed where they had land with the
Or just the R one.
utilities and stuff.
Well, then,
I'll come
the other
with
districts
this.
allow less restrictive districts or more restrictive district uses. So I think that R1 actually falls into all the other Rs
Okay,
of uses.
And, yeah, in terms
So,
of uses,
You're correct.
in terms of uses, residential
They're
is fairly
allowed in
close
all
together.
residential
But
districts.
the R1 or the RL, the setbacks and things like that, configurations and stuff like that are the difference.
There you go. Yeah, uses are pretty much the same, but the
Yeah.
configuration of lots are different.
And a lot of it has to do with old lots versus the new lot standards and the new building standards, you know.
Now we're to the agricultural, and in parentheses, I put vacant. And my first question was, do you wish to preserve any of the existing agricultural land? There is only one parcel that we identified as A on your future land use map, and that was right here. So on your zoning map, just north of the county building. It looks like it's still a cultivated farm on your zoning / aerial map.
No, yeah, it's south of where the truck stop is out there.
Yeah,
I think it's right
That's
here,
land out there, it's still farm,
yeah.
right there.
yeah.
Well, they're actually
Did you
farming,
wanna keep that as agriculture?
they're actually, a good portion of that TIF district out there,
So,
they're still farming
yeah,
it.
there's
The pipes are in the ground and stuff, and they just, you know,
But I think as far as future land use, you don't wanna keep any ag in the town,
No.
or in the
No, no.
village.
no,
We don't have it,
You don't even have it.
so we have no ag zoning, and I don't think we should go there.
Yeah.
Okay,
probably not.
switch that to commercial,
You know, a lot of municipalities might have
Yeah.
ag zoning, but
and
I
that
think-
will.
commercial or industrial, whichever one it,
Yeah.
what's up to.
Okay.
Yep.
And match the zoning, sort of, and can my default be match the zoning district map for this draft? Okay, great. So, because that's a consistency we wanna move towards anyway. And even if you are gonna review this and make changes to this, we'll match them to start. Okay. my next question is, it looks like that's the only property that was designated as agriculture, so we can remove that word. But it leaves us with vacant. So the map that appears in the draft, the June 11th draft plan, there were a few identified vacant pieces up north here. Here, this L-shaped,
Yep.
and there is another one. The zoning is commercial on this piece. Would you like me to change it to commercial, or would you like it to state vacant commercial? And then also create,
It's
point
not,
out-
it's not vacant per se, there's apartments in there, there's a single apartment.
Well, not where the
Okay,
low L piece,
this
but
L
this is
piece.
the future land use map. We don't want the future to be vacant.
No.
No,
Like, I think that
No.
the future land use map shouldn't have a vacant
it
designation.
should have a vacant designation.
Like,
what
you can,
it could be is an opportunity area.
Opportunity.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
That'd
we
make more sense.
replace all of we do the overlay, no, we haven't gotten there yet. But I overlaid these opportunity areas just in the same designation as our business areas that we created for the economic development chapter. But it doesn't need to be those areas. And maybe what it is an overlay that identifies any parcels like this, which
That
is
are
currently
available.
being cultivated,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
available. The underlying future land use will be commercial, but we're gonna create a little,
so then every time
Numbered
that a vacant lot
opportunity.
develops, you need to update your future land use map?
no, great question. That's what these opportunity areas, this overlay does.
Okay.
All it does is add a little bit of context to these available opportunities. So it identifies it on the future land use. And your future land use will state, I'm guessing, commercial for, if we use this as an example, do you want this to match your zoning?
That's behind the old ideal door.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
To the
okay.
west of the ideal door is where it's at, and north of the residential over there. South side as well.
Currently,
It's just not my house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're not, you're back.
Yeah,
backyard.
backyard.
Yeah,
it's currently cultivated, it looks like.
Yep,
it is, yeah.
it is.
And then it's zoned commercial.
It's zone, it's probably zone commercial, especially for the east side of that, because it's behind the commercial buildings and stuff that are there.
Sure.
But you go to the west of that,
Right.
It's residential.
it's residential, and
And
that's,
this is industrial. It's a mix that I'll ask about that odd shaped parcel next. There's industrial that's a strange shape like this.
That must run parallel with
Right
Highway
here.
12 then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
No, I put it too far that way. This, and then this is a residential.
yeah,
That's probably for road access or something.
And then this
That's where the
blue
water
is,
That's what it's for.
a single family
Yeah, yeah.
residential.
yeah.
Res,
At least that's how it was laid out in the past, was that
but
To
should
the
we
east.
match zoning for the most part on areas like this?
Yeah.
But what I could do is just put a number on this whole area,
Yeah.
put a number on it,
developable.
and then, well, it becomes an opportunity area. And then if you look at the draft plan, it just is a record of what is currently there. You know, currently this land is being cultivated. However, a mix of uses would be considered based on surrounding uses
public utility availability, community goals, and you can state other general criteria that you wanna look at as they develop.
That's what it's.
But back to your question, I think we should match the zoning map in the very least to minimize the chances that someone's going to need to amend this land use map. Because you've already identified that you want mixed uses there, but the other thing we can do is call it mixed use. You can add another description, another classification, that's just mixed use.
I think we should do that, because there's multiple areas along 63, like scooters. It's got future land use as commercial, but they're looking at residential there, multi-family residential. Like stuff fixed, and on the east side of 63, Mark and I have talked to some people interested in
Thank
maybe
you.
multi-family development.
And we'll see you July 27th, hopefully.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
If that's still the next meeting.
I think the more broader you
So
have it,
mixed
the better off
use.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because, you know, that's the future, so if you don't wanna lock yourself into something that you can't get out of, so to speak.
yeah, and the idea too is so you don't have like stuff scattered all
Yeah,
over,
right, yeah,
all wonky
yeah.
when you finally develop, but, you know, does multifamily and commercial along the 63 corridor make sense?
Mhm.
It probably does.
Probably does, yeah.
Yeah.
So besides this area, is there anything else that you would want to designate as this proposed mixed use?
That lot, you look down, you know,
I actually think that,
this thing,
so here's the Phoenix, I don't know why it's
Yeah.
hatched like that,
As
But-
an opportunity area,
but that's already got a building on it.
yeah.
but we can scratch it,
Um,
maybe put an X through it.
Is there a residence?
Thank you.
Just that one next to
There's
it.
just the one.
Or if I'm in the right spot, I'm assuming this is their pond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like this area just north of Phoenix, that's one that we've had some
Embers.
Yeah, so that could be the mixed use
Okay,
potential, so that could be commercial or multifamily.
and scooters, that one.
And
Scooters
scooters.
on the other side.
So, yeah,
Separate out the scooters, that's already there, keep that commercial.
yeah, and this is,
Well,
And this one
I
here,
don't know if it matters.
You can put circles and then also just write in mixed use or
okay.
MX.
And then even, you know, this part isn't in the village, that's not in the village, but this isn't in the village, but do we want them as residential? You know, which is what the color is. I think that's
That's
also,
current county or town zoning.
right,
That's,
but our future land use map,
yeah,
I think that that's all mixed use.
right.
And then the hospital, area that beyond the hospital certainly should be mixed use. They're talking
Right.
mixed use there.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, the hospital.
You know, office,
yeah.
Here,
possible residential,
yeah,
senior, whatever. I think that's definitely mixed use.
Right. Should we
Like,
get
little,
rid
little
of those
slide,
opportunity
slant toward
areas?
metal.
Yeah,
to me it's confusing,
Great.
but I don't know.
Get rid of a whole page and a lot of confusion.
So basically, you're saying
I'll
anything that's
get rid of
vacant
that.
or an opportunity
Yeah.
for development is just
Next
mixed
is,
use.
Yes.
So
Well,
then it's-
just
Well, determine
And then
the
I'm
water
just
basin,
gonna
do
draft
something
some
about it.
language
Yeah.
with some criteria that will give you some policy, legally defensive policy, and we can change that.
Right.
But it'll just be a first draft.
adjacent zoning kind of dictates.
Surrounding land uses,
Uh,
availability of utilities
yeah,
and roads, so access and the community goals. So then you can point to identified in the comprehensive plan, in defense of the type of development that you wanna see in the village and in these areas. And they won't need to amend the comprehensive plan. It would just be the zoning. So I'm so happy we landed on a good strategy for you. This is great.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just
So
start.
that's a start.
Thing.
And we'll take a look at it again in July.
Yeah.
So all of that will be mixed use. I'm going to, remove all of those opportunity areas. So I'll remove that page, I'll also remove the crosshatch. And I'll make mixed use probably a brown color, if that's okay with you guys, so that it's a solid
Yeah,
use and designation and classification on your future land use.
One thing I saw on that opportunity type zone is that we identified a half a dozen zones, no?
Yeah,
And then I kind of said, and then you had a list of these things, and I would kind of take this, the mid 63 zone, that one we just looked at here, that type of zone. Residential or multifamily, and maybe a commercial. Those are the kind of targets that we're going after.
oh, thank you. So for example, uses in the mixed use, you
Or,
would like
or,
to
or,
see
you know,
multifamily residential
yeah,
and
just pick a
commercial.
couple, you know,
Great,
kind of in the direction that we
Yeah.
wanna go. We wanna have multifamily, okay, for residential, and like commercial for,
yeah.
But mixed use gives you a lot more flexibility.
right, and that way you get some direction too.
Yeah.
People say, hey, I don't wanna put single family in here. You know, I'm gonna zone it more for multifamily. And then your zoning of, we'll get to that, can kind of get in that direction too.
Right.
yeah. And the zoning districts will have to include all of them. Red,
Well, the zoning could,
but with.
the zoning could go
with
this way or
industrial-
that way depending upon the development that people wanna look at,
Right.
okay? If
As
you're gonna
I
go residential,
understand
it's
that.
gonna probably be
Thank you.
Yep.
R4, R3 type of zoning. If it's gonna go commercial, but it being that it's highway,
I heard it a buzzer
C1H.
somewhere,
I try so hard to get through the material and I
Yeah, there's so
created
much
that
to go
survey
through.
and I thought,
but it's
I
true.
thought it would
It's
help.
tough. Yeah.
Thank
It
you
is.
guys so
It
much.
is.
Oh, and I'm sorry.
Well,
It's
our-
confusing. It is, we have made great progress because, oh, I just have a couple more questions. Do you like the idea of the greenways? So do you have those couple of 11x17s? Because I didn't put the greenways on this big map. The 11x17
the ones that-
maps. If you
Yep.
guys wouldn't mind sharing one, I'm sorry, I'll need to leave. And then Eric,
I've got
And-
stuff on mine, trying to look at.
thank you. And this map wasn't included in your draft plan because after I had, made a few changes to this map. So greenways are gonna appear in a dashed green line. And the way that I drafted them on this map is from your existing and proposed sidewalk and trail map in the transportation chapter. And I'm identifying them here because maybe future easements could be negotiated throughout the village to, create connections between your existing community facilities and parks. And it's just a dashed line. It's not identifying necessarily any proposed width or requirement for those future easements. It's only giving you a little bit of a negotiation tool if you did want to pursue it with those landowners and in those development areas. To maybe just say,
This is identified on our future land use map as a future sidewalk or trail corridor. Would you consider allowing, you know, a greenway corridor kind of? Do you like it? You don't really like the idea?
It's just, if you have this park here and this park here and that park there, if you've identified that, that to me should be good enough.
Well, we do have another map
Yeah, yeah.
with these
Trails.
on
The trails and stuff like that are on that
there. Yeah.
map.
I
I
guess
think,
we don't,
refer to another map, I think, is.
I don't have an
Yeah.
aversion to them here either necessarily, but if
It
they're,
gets busy.
if it's clear with them, not, I guess I don't.
We could call them something different too. And this would just be a reference to the other map. This is a place to record that this is existing
Yeah.
or future sidewalks and trails. Please reference the existing and proposed trail and sidewalk map in the transportation chapter.
The biggest problem I have is here is, this is a computer model with all these layers on there. And when you're looking on a piece of paper where you got all the layers printed, it gets awful busy, tough to. On a computer screen, I can look at this layer versus this layer, you know, this layer versus that layer, and see where the interferences are. But on paper, it
Next
gets
slide, you can.
busy.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you. So, if you were filling out your survey right now on that greenways line on page 3, would anybody disagree? Or do the majority agree with just keeping it on the draft for now? Let's,
I think it's important to identify that we would like to make sure we have connectivity of trails and parks and sidewalks. That people
Yeah,
can move through.
future.
Yeah,
It may not be the best place to put
Doesn't
it.
hurt to have it in multiple spots.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, it does not.
okay.
I mean,
Great.
I get Mark's point, but,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't identify it here either, then maybe people don't see,
Right,
right? Don't realize it.
right. We'll keep it in this draft, and there's still time.
We can always pull it out.
Yeah. Wonderful. Then are there any other opportunity area suggestions or mixed use area suggestions? And I wanted to ask about this big green piece. Is this a proposed park? I'm not sure.
I don't
It
know.
Oh, that's,
must have been a.
that's Corey's
Oh, boy.
It's
Yeah,
not part
no,
of it.
it's industrial, I guess, right?
Yeah, what's it zoned,
Well-
probably industrial.
Creative
Evergreen, that's,
industrial. I
Yeah,
think
that
is
would
the
be
thing.
industrial.
yeah. Cause that's off Evergreen there. Isn't somebody talking about
Yeah.
helping that and,
Yep, we're just having discussions with the
Do you
homeowner.
want mixed use on there?
yeah. For now, we don't know what's gonna be.
Well, it's all within industrial areas.
It's all,
isn't there?
right, it's got industrial all around it though.
Yeah.
Or it's zone, that's all already zoned
This
industrial.
here,
Yeah, yeah,
Actually, it's a,
it's
Right
this.
there.
it's not a parcel,
it's right there, right in here.
yeah.
That's
You
where,
see
right
the
in that
little-
corner.
Oh, yeah,
Hockey
I see
stick.
it now. Yeah, the hockey stick roll.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Should we do mixed use and then,
Honestly, that would be the zoning, cause it looks like you're gray all around it
Yeah.
okay,
too, I would just do it all gray.
okay. Oh, industrial on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
He can change it if he wants to. Someday.
He gets his checkbook out.
And all of this cultivated also. This, I think, might be, that is another great question. This is residential zone.
It was originally industrial zone, and
But it's
was
zoned residential,
changed
where
to,
the solar farm was looking?
yep, it was changed to residential prior to the
Yeah.
solar farm. And if the solar farm would have gone in, it would probably gone back to industrial again.
Yeah.
They keep looking for a use and keep changing the zoning to see what works.
I just realized.
But as mixed,
Yeah, make it mix then too.
yeah,
That's what it should be.
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
you don't know
it
what's
should
gonna
be.
get pushed up that way.
Okay, do you
Yeah.
have X on this one?
Yeah.
That's the best place to do residential zone.
It is,
Right
I
now.
agree. Right now, it'd be a good place to start putting in a housing development, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost a lot of money to put it over
That's
there.
right, that's the problem.
And then
Utilities.
maybe this industrial would
Yeah.
be a mixed use too.
Well, but that's surrounded by,
Industrial.
But if they're gonna put residential mixed use here.
I think that hockey stick, eventually
Because
that,
this is a
that's the
residential.
water that feeds out to that.
Field.
Peterson's
That's
Field.
where the road would go.
It basically
So
then
you
goes
want
up
to
to the
just-
water tower.
That's
And
how they
Commercial.
access utilities from.
Commercial is technically less, but not always. It depends on the traffic and the use.
yeah, I guess I don't know what's wrong.
I guess, I mean,
Which way?
before the city, before the village annexed that whole big area south of the interstate, that probably was where you were thinking
Well, that's where the
industrial would be
industrial park
put.
was gonna go.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that
That
we
was the
have this big
expansion for
industrial
it.
park south of the interstate,
Yeah.
are you thinking now residential for that area off of,
Yeah,
the road there, or do you still want that area to be industrial with all
Well, I
the
think
manufacturing?
some of it's
stuff
gonna
out
be
there?
industrial, you know, because there's already some existing
There's already so
industrial
much
uses
there.
there,
Mhm.
but I don't like that 40 acres, yeah, that
Just so you know.
thoughts crossed my mind. Maybe it's more mixed use than residential.
To me, it's more mixed use there because, you know, it would always ever depend on what happens
To
with
the
that.
access,
55th
the
Avenue.
access becomes an
And
issue.
if that's ever,
Right.
be upgraded, it'd have to be upgraded if you had a residential
Well,
house anyway, probably.
essentially up of this is
Oh,
220,
that's
Yeah.
220.
yeah, which is kind of a connector on the east side. And 55th is where Quick Trip is down here, or 50th or 55th.
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 That's good.
So I don't know what it's gonna be. But, you know, so this commercial could extend down 55th.
You could, because that land for sale too, so quite a bit
Right.
in there.
yeah, but you
But
got
where
some
does
houses.
residential
You
go?
got
Yeah,
some
just
houses.
get
in
residential.
place
And I'm
now.
not attached to the
Yeah,
About 3 or
residential.
4 residential houses in there right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Right
say
price will come down.
follow the zoning,
Oh,
Stick with what it is,
I think.
Yeah, I would leave it
okay,
there.
for now, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Always be looked at in the future, but,
yeah.
A lot more buildable commercial out there than there is out in industrial parks.
There's-
what was that?
It's a lot more buildable there than there is out in the industrial parks.
Oh.
When you have access,
Is the
then it's
water-
that's the problem.
The
Yeah,
water
yeah, yeah.
treatment
Yep.
and all of this area, do you wanna keep public institutional? You have it zoned
Yeah,
industrial.
because,
Yep,
you know, there's been discussion that if the school ever expanded,
yeah.
there's some land that,
Okay.
you know,
It'd either be Public Works or it'd be the school.
which, to be honest with you, I've never heard of that before, because usually a village or city and a school are more, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when it comes to this kind of thing, but it's, so I think you could leave the whole thing.
Why that
Leave it
is,
all,
why that is zoned industrial, is because industrial is the only thing that allows that type of operation.
Sure.
Sure.
On this side, we have, industrial. Oh, I thought it didn't match, but it does. Zoning commercial, but here on this zoning map, it's industrial, that's great.
Yeah.
Right.
The old garage door plant, twice that now.
There's a piece here that's zoned single-family residential, but it's shown multifamily here. Would you want
or do you want it to be single family?
I think that's multi-family.
This is here, this is, this
Yeah.
big piece that's undeveloped,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and here
Are we
it's,
designating what type of residential?
well, because we have those two residential, the classifications on the land use map, yes.
Okay.
They have different maximum densities. Your minimum density is the same in both, but your maximum is 14 in the multifamily and it's 9 in the low density now, which
That-
can change.
See, this is all twin homes.
But this was just one of the differences that I saw.
This is what's gonna get
I
developed.
wasn't
See,
sure.
Twin homes, this is all twin homes there too.
But how we
Eventually, we're
could
gonna start
deal
using
with that,
that
Eric, is just by doing mixed
Yes, that
use.
would be the
Well, we don't want it to be commercial.
Well,
Oh, right. Thank you.
That's only, yeah.
And all the, everything out there is
Because you're
twin
really
homes,
identifying.
twin
single
homes,
So-
and three plexes, or four plexes, and six
It's all
plexes.
residential out there now.
What?
It's all residential out there now.
Yeah, but it's, on that particular lot, it's twin homes and
Yeah, well,
four plexes and six plexes multifamily.
So you could do multifamily.
yeah, I think you do multifamily in the whole area there,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
this zoning
Right.
as single family and there is multi.
I,
Right.
I think you can leave it as multi in the
Multi.
future.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, and then just sort of flag it in your review. At least it's both residential.
yeah.
You address this one, great. Address that one. And we're gonna delete the opportunity areas, which will be much easier. We're gonna keep the greenways. Okay, we are on to the goals. I think I have enough, for this next draft of the future land use map. I'll revisit this. I am gonna take this large map though, and if that's okay, if you wanted to take a photo of it.
Can I ask one
For your
quick
minutes.
question that
Of
I've been
course.
wondering the whole time?
Yep.
This red one up
Yes.
here, why are these identified on here?
Cross.
12?
Cross.
The 12, I
At
had-
one time, the hospital was gonna go there.
So these are no longer anything,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right? It's
Just
beyond,
green.
so, like, it'd be green.
Yep,
Yeah.
Well, and
Or-
because it's outside of your jurisdiction, this is the town slash county land use map.
That's why, okay.
Which, that's why this whole, the whole exterior of this map, that's sort of grayed out, is the county land use map that you'd have to refer to.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I thought we were already identifying the wall and stuff, but no,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
I'm like,
you know what I could do is I could white out everything outside of your jurisdiction. But right now, it's the black,
yeah.
dark
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
tried to add a buffer so that your jurisdiction pops out.
yeah, I think that's,
It's,
Because even the
You
big
wanna
red
keep
spot
it-
there south of the interstate, it's not village stuff, but it blends in with our other red stuff. to where If you don't see the black, like to Mark's point, the black lines coming
Yeah.
through, you don't,
yeah.
yeah,
you know, a quick look, you don't realize, it looks more like that's the village limits versus, you know, all land use that surrounds the village, you know what I mean?
yes.
And so like
I
that
know
big red,
exactly what you
whatever
mean.
that is, 40 acres, 120 acres, whatever it is, that's south of it.
Yeah, all of this.
Yeah, all that
It's
stuff is.
difficult to make it
Yeah, all
look
that stuff.
different enough. But the reason we did that is because it's good land use planning practice to have the surrounding jurisdictional,
Yeah.
rules
Sure.
as to compare to.
Yeah.
So here's our St. Croix County future land use map that I need to reprint because we've since done comprehensive plans for Star Prairie and for the town of Hammond. That has changed it a bit, particularly for Hammond, which we're gonna be processing soon. Hopefully this fall, we'll have a new land use map
Well, you could just
their
run it up there as over here
recommendation.
then.
Or,
Yeah.
sorry, with
That's a
their
public piece.
future land use map.
All right,
What was that?
Just add Hammond's in here then for us, so we know what it is.
I know, I was about to do that, but I didn't because it wasn't,
Then we know if we're conflicting
Official
with them or
yet?
not. See?
Yeah.
yes,
See, that's why, we wanna know what they're doing.
that's what I added on there.
How do our maps compare to other people's maps in terms of
Yeah, we wanna
colors
match
and
up with
stuff
them
like that?
on the west side of town here, we don't wanna be separate from them, we wanna join with them, forces with them, you know, so we can do something.
Right.
Yes,
careful what you wish for.
Well,
I'm,
when they're in rural water through, then we'll
You know, I'll-
have to force together. See?
I'll put it on there. They just adopted it, on the eighth,
Yeah.
was it June eighth?
Yeah.
They adopted their ordinance and their land use map.
Well, if they're all mixed use,
So-
we're fine.
The equals in writing, but I'll put,
That'll work.
Thank
When
you.
you-
Hammond, Walden border, getting shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I'll try to up the grade a little bit to make it.
That make,
easier to
I
see.
just wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't connecting my brain, now I get it.
Oh, good. And thank you. Thanks for noticing that. What? Now I can't remember.
So you know, what's this?
You got the SCC county property. I think we have everything on this map addressed. Then we're on to the goals. Do you wanna press on and do the goals, or should we start with the goals next time?
Well, see, one thing I was gonna tell you is, okay, barring the fact that we've been here 3 hours, I'm trying to think out, if we have to have another meeting past, well, like September as a wrap up, I don't, necessarily think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh,
Either.
no, right. We don't have to keep it to the number of meetings you said, or like if.
Just because we're
If
covering
it extends
so
into-
much.
It extends into October, for example.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, to make sure that we give this enough review.
Oh, yeah, right, there's no point rushing it.
So I was gonna say that
Should
earlier,
we review
but
the schedule?
How,
Just put it out a
well, even
month.
if you,
How much-
yeah, because we're almost done, so we're probably only talking 1 more month.
how much time does that public meeting generally take?
Well, it shouldn't take long because,
It's like an
because
open
all
house,
of our work.
so,
Don't jinx it.
We're-
Won't be that
I
when we
know.
started.
what's
It'll
that?
be similar to when we started.
Yeah.
When we first had the open house, when we started, we had people come in,
Yeah.
it'll be similar to that.
Yeah, she
Well,
might
that
have 40.
But there'll be less people there.
No, it will be more similar to the board meeting, where I presented the survey results really fast, and it was just an agenda item,
Oh, I see, yeah, okay, yeah.
because
I mean,
by the time we get there, it should be, all of the issues should be worked out.
oh, yeah, but that's why,
And if you
an
think
extra,
we
an
need
extra month,
another
another
workshop
meeting or two
meeting,
should make a difference to us.
Yeah, because when you go from 2 to 3
Yeah.
hours, it does get kind of, it's hard to,
focus.
yeah.
Okay,
it's
what
it is.
is the third Thursday? If we looked at the schedule now
Mhm.
and just reschedule the public hearing to September and
Yeah.
the board consideration to October.
Yeah, I think with the amount of volume we have with this, it's, I think probably gonna just happen by default anyway, because there's so much here that.
You got a lot of work to do too.
I know. I try to do it right away so it's fresh in my mind, and get you guys the packet 10 days in advance.
Yeah,
Sorry,
which
it
is
was
good,
a little
so
late
we have
this
some
last
time
night.
to go through.
So should we start with the goals next time?
Yeah.
And reschedule another meeting in August.
Yeah, I think that's.
What was this August 24th? Was
Well, that
it,
was when you were gonna have the public hearing.
Yeah.
was it the third Thursday again?
Well, I thought August 24th,
Fourth
next
Monday.
Monday was the
Monday.
public hearing. I thought.
It is, yep,
But I'm wondering what day of the week, because that worked for everybody at that time. It's a Monday,
Yeah.
so it's the same, yeah, fourth Monday.
Following the same sequence. we have
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah,
So we keep that date, but it just becomes another full draft review. Because next time, we're still gonna be doing land use, and we're gonna do the implementation chapter, try to add that in next time. And then our August 24th meeting, could we also start at 5:30?
yeah, I think
Same
that's
thing.
good.
That'll be PC work session again. Review draft full. And then the September 9th will be different though. So now we'll reschedule the public hearing to the fourth Monday in September, which is the 28th. Does that seem to work for everybody?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Great. September 28th will be public hearing. I'll update the project webpage.
I won't be here, I got football games that day. Back
It's
in-
Wednesday.
It's a JV, well, unless my freshman is on the varsity team, but
Yeah.
I'll tell him to get his button,
Get him in shape.
yeah.
Hun, if we need to reschedule, just let me know.
Well, once we get back into school year, all my Mondays will be football games. And then Fridays will be football games.
So October is
And then my
that,
daughter will have, well, it's at volleyball on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Your weeks are shot.
Yeah, once school starts, then.
when is the October board meeting? Mark?
The second Wednesday of October.
Second Wednesday would be the 14th.
You can still have the morning meetings.
October 14th.
Okay.
Tentative. 6 PM board. Great. Okay, let me know if those dates don't work. We can always change them. That we make it through,
Oh, yeah, we've made a ton of progress.
and we can
We've got through so much.
adjourn at
All these
3
meetings.
hours. Do
Like,
you guys have other items on the agenda?
no, not this one.
No, not.
I don't know, Eric, are we gonna have a regular,
Yes.
I haven't gotten anything. I guess, have you gotten anything from Dustin Wiskus or?
No, still haven't.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna meet. Because I don't have anything, nothing's come in.
You're gonna give us a July 4th break, is that what you're saying, or is this an off?
Yes, because it's already past the 15th and nothing's come in, so.
Right, it's supposed to be
Holy cow.
about.
Well, Mark,
Isn't that
Mark,
something?
now, Mark, listen, you have something, and you know what you have.
Yeah.
What's that? Driveways?
For public drive, you know,
Well, that's going back to the board.
no, the board said to kick it back to us again.
Well,
so
they
I
did,
understand.
they did though,
Huh?
at the last meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that went to the board and then the agenda said discuss,
yeah,
so they couldn't pass it. So now at the
so it's.
July board meeting, it'll
Okay.
just say, it'll say review approve and they'll just approve it.
Okay, just so.
So it's just a matter of time.
Because I understood at the meeting it was coming back to us again.
Yeah, it did at the last meeting, came back. So that's all done now for the planning commission, part of it.
Wow, I understood we had to have another.
The next
planning
thing is
commission
what
meeting.
they're gonna do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to take a decision what they're gonna do. It doesn't involve us.
No, we're
Right.
gonna start enforcing
It's enforcement,
after the
building,
permits,
building
Right.
inspector, the
after
attorneys,
2018,
and the board.
I think is where it's gonna go. Yeah.
I'm of the opinion some concrete should be cut out and some fines should be leveled.
I think that's where it's gonna go.
Well, that's what the board needs to do.
We've already talked about doing it from the permit the temperaments were issued after. Not fun, no. All right, so the meeting is adjourned at 8:25.
I'll second that.
If you think of anything, feel
Sounds
free.
good.
And I don't know if it's gonna end up the way that it was shown in the draft, but maybe get you
Okay.
a better
Thanks, Miguel.
existing zoning map, I think.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and Mark, I will need to update it anyway, because it's.
Thank you,
supposed to
Mark.
change it.
We'll see you
Update
next
zoning
month.
map.
Yes,
You can do it
I
without
was just-
Ariel,
Oh.
that's easier to see, you know, so don't do, the last version has Ariel.
Can you do an aerial for me though?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
sure.
can you, I was gonna
I
ask
can do
you
one of each,
if you can redo that map for me
yeah,
with my minuscule rezoning.
yeah.
I think it's got everything else.
The habitat one?
Yes,
Yeah, so I could do that,
that's what I was.
yeah, with the habitat, but
And
then
we,
for the comp plan,
Oh, the cow.
if you want to include a zoning map, they shouldn't have the aerial.
no, you can go without. And then you gave me an 11x17 of that too.
Yeah.
But maybe the 11x17 didn't have the, I can't remember, but I'll need a smaller one too.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All of the comp plans so far have included a zoning map in them,
Oh,
with the
absolutely.
exception of
Yep.
Hammond. And we can refer to that as the existing land use.
Okay.
As long as it's got a date on it. You
Yeah.
know, that would be the year that it was recorded,